typically not doing too well. I think teams are just more prepared in terms of picking things against it. Queen of Pain, for example, here, a good hero to escape the Clockwork gank. And we've been seeing a lot of the supports kind of making the adjustment as well. Although yesterday we saw a lot of Wyvern pick. Wyvern in particular could just fly out the hogs or just help somebody with co-embrace. So I think that explains why Clockwork as a whole has not been doing too well.
Looking at the bans for the second stage now, we see the Lich and the Lycan removed by Execration. For HellRaisers, the Drow, the Ursa. So you mentioned running like 3-2 position heroes. I think Drow fits in very well with that because you can just pick two like tempo controllers like a Puck and a Quap, and all of a sudden they're damage dealers too. So not the route Execration is going to go here. They grab the Void. Void has probably been one of the most popular picks thus far, I want to say, in terms of like he's not often banned, but he's always sitting there in the second stage, and if he's available, teams are apt to take him.
It's just a very safe pick. Like, he has decent lanes, he's hard to kill, he has late game scaling. I think the only weakness that Void has as a hero is that he forces your team to play a certain style. He tends to group up with this team, and we saw, I think, EG having a little bit difficulty with that. They last picked a Sumail Void yesterday, and they were just ripped apart by Team Liquid's kind of global pushing strategy. In this game, though, another core that's very easy to escape away from Clockwork. You see the immediate eventual reply to, you know, defensively swap people out. Although currently, as it stands, I think both Clockwork and Dragonite have no problem getting Chrono. They are extremely tanky.
Yeah, and it's nice to see the bench pick from HellRaisers. I personally feel like teams have not really been giving the Void a whole lot of respect. Like, we have seen a lot of Void picks with no counter picks attempted.
Right.
Oftentimes, when teams are taking Void, it's when the other team has already taken what look to be their two supports. And then they don't go for anyone else who can get a save off in the Chrono. Like, the support Naga was something we used to see a lot of. The Venge, obviously, you mentioned. Even Dazzle has been an okay reply to a Void pick in the past, but yeah, we haven't really been seeing that so much. So HellRaisers just countering him head on. And of course, Venge generally fits in great with the push strat, and that is what we're going to get.
That's another counter.
The Dragonite and the Pugna.
Yeah, Pugna, I believe, has a 100% win rate, sample size 5, so not the greatest.
That's a pretty decent sample size, but yeah, it's not, you know, huge. But
well, here's the thing, right? All of the Pugnas we've seen are ones that dominate the mid lane. You have a Dragonite already selected. Oh, there's a one game we casted where Pugna was the safe lane, right?
Yes, there was a safe lane Pugna that was that LGD? Forever Young? Or I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I think so. I think that was Alpha playing it. Although I'm not. It escapes me. It's 24 hours ago, LD.
Senility is kicking in. But yeah, we've seen a lot of Pugna. He's been very successful, and we have seen him in multiple roles, be it mid, be it safe lane. Those are the main two. I have seen support Pugna in the past with varying results. I feel especially in the support role, he's extremely boom or bust, because if your team starts losing, he's squishy, and he just feeds constantly. But if you have a good start, then he can be a potent ally by your side. Like, sometimes where teams would pick Leshrac just as a support, mainly for Edict, you know, to push towers. Sure. Now it feels like Pugna kind of fills those shoes more and more.
Yep. Pugna in this game, the Decrep is going to allow you to be that save. You're talking about things that you could do against Void. Well, here's another thing, right? You could Decrep Void or whoever that's getting targeted. And it helps out against the Witch Doctor damage output from the Death Ward as well. So Pugna definitely a very strong pick. Although I want to say I think the ward from Pugna himself, I don't think it's going to have a huge impact. It's going to be more or less an annoyance to Execration, but it's not going to shut down some big spellcasters.
It's a little weird, like, not actually seeing the hero portraits. I never realized how much I use them to kind of, like, you know, even with the new UI, it's still, you know, it's visually somewhat similar to the old one.
Right.
Like, I'm so used to just looking at them to, like, feel what the lineup looks like, and now I'm
you gotta
I have to,
look
like,
at
read the names and then think about the heroes. It's throwing me for a loop, man.
I guess the artist in Dota 2 has done a great job, right?
Yes,
they have associated that portrait with what the hero does and everything. So,
or maybe I'm just a very visual person.
Sure.
But yeah, so I mean, you look at Execration, they've got this big wombo combo, right, built around the Chronosphere. Do they double down on that, or do we see them pick up something that doesn't rely on it so much? Like, as far as that goes, OD perhaps is someone who can dump a lot of damage in Chronosphere. He's been quite unpopular lately. Lina, another option, who's been more in vogue. You're going to be facing a Dragonite mid, so it could be the Quap there. And then the question is it a safe lane void, an off lane void, or they could, you know, do something different with the Queen of Pain, like you mentioned, put the void in the off lane. Hell, put the void mid, like EG did. You really don't know right now.
You don't.
I don't expect that from Execration. I think it's more likely an off lane or safe lane void, and not a mid void. But that's the one thing I'm pretty confident about in this draft. But you never really know.
I've also seen Jay play Tusk as a 3-position Tusk. I don't think that's very common, and we're gonna get the Shaker, and this should be the
core Shaker, right?
Yeah, it should be core Shaker.
So off lane Shaker, safe lane void, mid Queen of Pain.
Not too many combos for the Chronosphere. It's mostly just Death Ward and perhaps good Sonic Wave, I guess. But a lot of good stuns, a lot of long range coming out from Execration. Is there a particular draft that you favored, even though you don't see the portraits that well?
So the thing I really dislike about Execration's draft is they don't take objectives well. They don't take Roshan well. They don't take towers well. I think teams who don't pick a hero, at least one hero that is good at that, be it like a Pugna, a Dragon Knight, you know, Terror Blade, you know, something, are generally at a disadvantage. So I like HellRaisers better because if they have a good fight, they can convert it into something tangible. Whereas I feel like for Execration, they have to win like 2-3 fights in some cases before they can start taking those objectives. So I favor HellRaisers a bit there. I think they are the stronger team for me from the amount of like the games I have seen of both teams. So yeah, I'm definitely favoring HellRaisers based on that. But you know, Execration has the skill. They just are very inconsistent, and so I don't know which Execration is.
That's the thing.
Up.
Yeah, it's inconsistency. I think both teams are fairly similar when they're on their A game. It's just that I don't know if Execration is on their A game. So, well, we'll see how the game pans out. I do agree with you, though. Execration, when they're taking towers, it's because they have a fat void and have a fat Queen of Pain. If their early games don't go well enough, then, well, nobody's going to be fat and they're going to be struggling.
All right. Apologies, folks. Stop here. So just...
Come on, LD. Get it together.
I'm trying, Lumi. Don't stress me.
J4 and Liumik. Ooh, great fissure block coming across the river. The shard's going to come through as well. They do not have an Orb of Venom here, but the right clicks, especially with the boots first, and now they're going to block him a little bit. J4 will be giving the first blood, and the 5 position, or rather the 4 position captain for the team picks it up.
Yeah, they wanted to set up shop around the bounty rune, but Execration, a pretty fearsome level 1 squad just with the Tusk and the Earthshaker. The rest maybe not that good at level 1, but those two alone provide you so much control and options that easy for them to take that little skirmish. I
think HellRaiser now sees like 4 heroes on the bottom. They could send a Clockwork up top and just secure the rune here and take it away from the Void. So even though they give up the first blood, I do believe the rune result should be still 2-2. So walking towards it, trying to get the rune, but okay, Cassid's gonna come through. It's gonna be a bouncing bounce. And now he jumps back out, but they're going to chase him down. The Orb of Venom is available on Milan. They're going to hit him a couple of times. Cogs available to trap Nando back in. He's going to hit the Cogs a little bit, trying to bounce himself out.
That poor man's shield, he is very tanky. Just easily sustains the damage. There was also a skirmish happening bottom simultaneously, and Nando just tickled by it all. We'll have to heal up, use some tankos. Of course, not going to be that much fun as a Void having to last hit in a lane against Clockwork. Cogs will constantly be chafing you. So it is going to be 2-1-2 setups for Execration. And it looks like the Earth Spirit of Milan is going to be doing a bit of roaming here early on.
Earth Spirit roam, for a while, I don't think have been too successful in terms of converting in the past. I think the last patch has really slowed them down as a hero.
What in particular do you think slowed them down?
I think people just got better playing against them. And also, the heroes that are picked are also more resistant to those type of ganks. For example, Queen of Pain here, you see a row coming in, doesn't care. It's until Earth Spirit gets to level 2, and he generally has trouble finding the level 2. Kaiser with a shard not coming in, but still a sizable amount of harass.
James is going to have to blink away across the ravine. Salve up, so good old 2v2 here in the mid lane. Already DK 7-0. Hero CS is like a... When's the last time you've seen DK lose his lane, Lumi?
I don't remember.
Even Gods won his lane.
Oh, Gods is, I don't know, the Australian dragon, so.
It's that, the Straya dragon.
Yeah.
I've seen this pirate witch though. Yar, baby. What's your favorite pirate line, Lumi? Are you big on pirate lore?
not very good.
Shiver me timbers. That's a good one. I don't
I'm
even know what it means. It sounds cool.
Bottom lane here, we're gonna see a couple of nukes flying out. Swarm ending not letting loose at the Decrep. Might have actually connected it into another blast. Whenever I see pirate, like modern day pirates, I kind of just forget that it's not about the wooden legs and eye patch. Like, they just bore your plane and then they mess you up. The modern pirates, you know?
Yeah, modern pirates are not as cool as old pirates. I think, you know, I don't think people really like the idea of the actual, like, pirate. We'll see 3-3 diving RR, getting that kill, but it's gonna beat the Void his life away. Probably not hugely worth.
I think it's okay. Like, yeah, sure, you give Void the solo kill, but let's not forget that he's gonna get farmed regardless. The fact that you get solo kill experience on a support propels you so much faster to level 6. And for offlane Clockwork, all you care about is that level 6.
True. He is relatively close here with Nando.
Yeah.
So the numbers certainly backing you up there.
I think for like a farming offlane, let's say your LC or, I don't know, let's say Doom, that we saw from a couple of teams picking up, maybe not worth a trade, but for a hero that's more caring about levels, I think it's definitely okay.
So, see Kaiser having a great start here in mid, and the Pugna having a fantastic start for Swift Denny bottom. So basically, the siege engines for HellRaisers, and they've got 2 of them, are off to the races, which would suggest that Execration are going to be facing some very early tower pressure. I guess that kind of segues nicely into this question, Lumi, of overall thoughts on the 2 lineups and what their respective goals are as we hit the 4-minute mark.
You kind of mentioned what HellRaiser wants to do, right? They have a very early kind of pushing style lineup. They want to be fast. They want to get towers early. Now, for Execration, they repel them with a Chronosphere and get kills off of it. So it really comes down to Nando and how he uses the Chrono. If he let's like one riff and they don't get a kill or 2 and they lose 2 towers off of that, they're going to be really far behind.
Good outplay there by Execration. Fantastic shards coming in from Chemo. And this was what we saw yesterday that was lacking for Execration for me, was they weren't able to find those early kills. Chemo spent a lot of time moving, and he was often moving even with RR, and it was all very unsuccessful. So this is definitely different. I guess perhaps part of it was that there was a Bristleback mid, who's obviously
there was also a Lich in those games. Queen of Pain comes in, great play from Milan, silent, stun, everything, but he just blinks away, and all of a sudden it's going to be the Tusk.
Don't tell me the Tusk gets out here too. He's going to try, but doesn't roll very far. Chemo though, breathe fire, will shut him down.
Oh, Witch Doctor ports in as well. Yar! Go.
That was the least enthusiastic pirate.
Look, I have no pirate training. So
training? I don't have training. I've watched Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think that qualifies either.
Well, at least you watch it. I haven't seen it.
You haven't even watched it.
I've heard the theme, the music theme. It's lit.
Another jump in here by James onto Kaiser. As Dragon Knight continues to get bullied, pressured heavily. And the dual lane appears to be paying off as he's brought down once more. Late rotation from Milan, but unable to save his prized Dragon Knight. Goes down again.
I mean, you say that Dragon Knight rarely loses the lane, and to a degree, he's not, like, he's doing well in the CS department, right? But he's a full level behind a Queen of Pain now, and I think Queen of Pain hitting level 6 is going to be able to pressure the DK more with the rotations coming in. I think this one might be one of those rare games where DK will start to struggle.
Yeah, it's oftentimes you just see teams are content to trade farm.
Yep.
3-3 finds a solo
kill the Void. I mean,
play.
I did say that 3-3 just carries from the offlane, but you just don't expect a Clock to do this much. He's level 6, he's gonna shrine back up, he doesn't even have to go back to base, and all of a sudden, if you look at heroes like Witch Doctor, and even Shaker and Tusk, they could just die. Middling.
Committed dive for Kaiser, want to finish him off. Dragon Knight will end up going down. Now the Queen of Pain all committed, 3-3 comes in with the phase boot, the battery assault, the hook shot gets the kill. Huge plays, first the Void taken down on one side of the map, and now finding the Queen of Pain elsewhere. So 2 beefy cores deleted by 3-3's individual play.
Wow, that's just impressive.
Well, those are also 2 heroes that normally you're like, I don't really care about Clockwork, you know, just time walk out of the cogs, blink away, but times it right with the hook shot, very patient. Also, this is probably your time to shine, while the time walk is only level 2, and the Queen of Pain Blink, only level 1. So those are long cooldowns for now.
We'll see. I'm gonna just follow 33. I just feel like he's gonna be the playmaker. The HellRaiser needs to extend their early game dominance.
Making a big commitment here for Raging Potato. They'll hit him with the Nether Blast, then getting him with the Life Drain. He just waltzes away. The rocket comes through, just barely missing. And the boulder also not going to connect, so Raging Potato, at least for now, making it out. Beware of those follow-up boulders.
Unfortunately, only a level 1 rocket flare on 33, so he can't fire it across the map and ensure and kill. But
I mean, this is the preferred build as a Clockwork if you feel like you have any potential to do damage in your lane. Like, otherwise you go into the mid game and you're just a weak nuke. It is global, but it's also not that much damage. Whereas the Battery Assault, I mean, what is it when it's maxed? It's like 700 damage or something, right?
You're not supposed to be able to get off all that damage, because when you do, you're just killing pretty much anybody. 33 now rotating, trying to catch some people out. Void again, you have to somehow bait that jump. It's definitely tough.
Yeah, that's not a hero you can count on killing on your lonesome. I don't really think that's HellRaiser's goal, like to constantly gank or pressure the Void. It should be much more group up with the Dragon Knight, the Pugna, and just hit towers. So that is what they're trying to do here mid. But they don't have the best creep wave support. Second wave coming in. The Dragon form used relatively early here. And while that's happening, Raging Potato finds the solo kill on the bench, but Tier 1 now about to be under siege.
Top lane looks like 33 has started the party. Did force a jump, but does not hook after it. And like you said, in the mid lane, siege begins. I think they're not looking to pressure any individual hero. HellRaisers just need to apply pressure as a whole. Whether it's beyond tower or whether it's invading the jungle. I like the fact that HellRaiser starts with the mid tower, because if you do open up this mid lane, allows Clockwork as well as your Venge and your Earth Spirits to actually roam into the jungle and find much more effective ganks.
33 has been sitting top. I expect he's going to move soon. Waits for RR near the
Nope, that's a
bounty rune.
Freebie.
That should be a free takedown. Assault. Catch him from the Hogs. See you later, RR. Another kill. Put him on a killing spree now. 33 having a fantastic start to this game.
He did get off the Maledict. Oh, I thought it was going to be enough to burn actually some infused raindrop charges. I guess it's only a very low level one.
Also didn't do very much damage either.
Yeah.
So yeah, HR, their first attempt to push, it's moderately effective. They get the tower down to about a third HP, but I wouldn't say it was super effective, especially considering, like, sometimes you see just a Pugna push alone is enough to take a Tier 1.
Yep.
Let alone when you have the Pugna end.
Top lane poke, looks like it missed. The silence and the stun following through. I don't think actually could get the kill on Nando. Nando jumps off all of the damage. His mana is being burned. Teleport Scroll is available. He has one more jump.
And now it's a level 4 time walk, so you really need the chain stun if you want to bring him down. Ideally, Dragon Knight with a Blink or Shadow Blade would be a good follow-up to that. Maybe the Bend stun, but HR, they did not quite bring the numbers. Will not be able to find the kill.
One thing that we haven't really mentioned is that, mid lane here, they're going to go on the Queen or just defend the Dragon Knight. Either way, it looks like DK is going to get trapped in. Sonic Wave available, and we'll get let loose here. Kaiser, though, very, very tanky.
Oh, that damage from the Pugna almost instantly takes out Chemo. Indeed, will kill him off. Only his Sigil there to mark his tomb.
You see these players are not really used to playing against Pugna. He tried to juke around the tree lines, which does absolutely nothing against a Life Drain. Life Drain tracks you through fog, through invisibility. His best play is to just walk as far away in a straight line away from the Life Drain, which he did not do. I think part of the reason why Pugna is doing so well in this tournament is just that it's just not a common pick.
Looks like a commitment here from Nando in the top lane. Drops the Chrono, wants to bring down Milan. Brings him low. Not able to finish him off yet, though. And oh, as he's about to roll away, catches him, gets that crucial bash, and secures the kill. Well, meanwhile, in the mid lane, HR's persistence will pay off. They take down the Tier 1. The beauty for them is they might just be able to go for another tower now, as there is no Chrono to defend it. 3-3 finding the kill on RR. Now jumping in is Nando. This Clockwork is extremely durable with the raindrops. Has the stick charge. Is finally going to go down. Meanwhile, it looks like Kaiser may have overstayed his welcome. Needs to back away. James is thinking about pursuit. Won't commit to it. But yeah, Lumi, there is no Chrono, and generally, if you're a Pugna Dragon Knight draft, that means dream opportunity to start pushing elsewhere. But Pugna low on mana, and Dragon Knight about to lose his ultimate, so perhaps it's not the window it could have been.
Yeah, still a couple of blasts. They are going to wear it down. Looks like we're going to see a Veil of Discord coming out from Pugna. That's something we saw a lot out of the LGDs and LFYs, but makes a lot of sense. You do pick up a lot of armor, which is going to be decent against Nando.
All about that deep. So you've got Veil, you've got Aetherlands, you combine that with...
You got Light of Heaven.
Crepify, you've got Light of Heaven, you got some Shrines.
Well, you know what, we could do this too.
So let's get in on the action. What's up? What's happening at the Shrine?
It's 100% HP.
I actually just want him to like write a blog and explain what it is.
We should actually just walk up to him and ask him why you ping so many shrines.
It's just his like way of promoting himself. You know, it's like now all the other communities.
He's casting a TI. He doesn't need any promotion. He's a TI champion. Does he need more promotion?
Some people, Lumi, they just crave the spotlight. Okay, Light of Heaven, you're still a great player.
From Shackle Shots. I still remember.
Execration is going for the trade here. They're going to try and take this mid-tier 1. Trading clip available. And they are clustering up top. Pugna marches in, and Nando backs away. He does get the quest done here.
Oh!
Slam through the trees from Raging Potato, and now going to be punished in a huge, huge way. Decrepified, blasted, deleted. The Void also on the run. The sounds come through. The Boulder Sledge almost connecting. Nando narrowly dodging death. That tower has fallen. Radiant Tower in the mid lane. Meanwhile, is gonna go down. No clip.
LD, that was so unfortunate for Execration. Jay had a Blink Dagger. He was sitting in the trees.
Oh my god, he did?
Yeah.
Well, it's only 13 minutes. That's a really fast blink.
He was gonna hit a 4-man Echo Slam, but Ven just like Terry, because he saw the Void jumping in there. It's like, okay, let me give vision to my team. And he got him just the second that he was about to blink, and he just echoed the ground. My god, they were about to get absolutely dumpstered by Jay. That was so unlucky for them.
Would it have been enough to kill them? I guess I think
TP would have came in.
It is a max after dog, so yeah, maybe it is. Good swap here by D4. Oh, speaking of big plays, a 4-hero Boulder Smash, no big deal. Milan mowing them down. They've taken the tier 2. So HR now up to a 4-tower to 1 advantage. And likely to continue ramping up. Execration going to feel this map getting very, very claustrophobic in short order.
Yep. Very important for Nando just to pick up damage, just like raw damage, and be able to take advantage of the Chronosphere. I love the fact that he's going for his Shadow Blade. I like to see something like Shadow Blade or Yasha into Diffuso, just anything that makes you pack a punch, because it's all about hitting that Chrono, pick off the Venge, pick off the Pugna, things like that. But something that we mentioned during the draft is that there's a lot of counters to the Chrono. The Crep, the Swap, just being tanky.
Boulder Smash, hook shot even to, you know, for some interruption. So, I definitely agree with you there. Execration are going to cluster up in the bottom lane. Well, it wasn't the brilliant Blink debut they were hoping for. They do have another shot to set something up here. Good wards to cover that Radiant jungle. And surprisingly, HellRaisers letting them just take this tower for free. Not even going to try to contest. Also not taking their own objectives. So, end of the day, it's not that big of a tower deficit for Execration. Only down 2, where it feels like it could be more.
Yeah, I'm surprised for the lack of defense as well, because when you're this kind of early kind of pushing team, you want to widen the gap of the tower difference. It doesn't matter if you're good at ticking tower, if you just give up just as many, right? Like, that's what it feels like.
Execration does have a big combo team fight, but at the same time, like, you have some really beefy tanks that you can throw in first, right? The Clockwork, the Dragon Knight. You know, if you're really worried about it, one of them can soak up a lot of damage. You swap them out, but hold that thought. Here comes the Echo. Raging Potato catching out the Dragon Knight. Kaiser will go down. Now J4 could be in trouble. They don't have the full squad here. He's going to take down the Maledict, and a Walrus Punch sends him into the atmosphere. Oh, no, coming through, but S33 hooks away. Get me out of here, baby, he says. Away to safety, and now Swift Ending coming in. They're going to turn this. Nando not only going to miss his easy kill, or so he thought, but now giving up his own life, and with the Pugna alive, probably the biggest damage to the remaining in this fight. He could take over. RR getting punished for this. A pathetic totem attempted by Potato, but it will buy time for his comrade. get away, or at least so he hopes. Still on the chase, Swift Enemy moving in. They get that decrepit by the blast comes through as well. Then backing off his creep to not get the life drain going. Lost the vision for a second, but now will reclaim it and scores the kill. Still moving forward onto James. Almost dead indeed to the magnetize. One more tick would do it. A little life drain. No, it's not available. Still on cooldown. The blast. James makes it out. Absolute madness here in the jungle, but it all really started to go awry when 3-3 got that beam me up Scotty hook shot for safety.
Yeah, and the critical thing is that Chrono was used, Execration did not win the team fight, and HellRaiser gets to move around the map and start taking down more towers. That tier 2 mid needs to be pressured.
I didn't actually realize if your hook has already hit something, it completes no matter what, even though the Chrono's already there. Is that how it works, or like is it just the visual thing? Because the Chrono definitely was on top of him,
right,
before he left the space the bubble occupied.
I don't even know for sure. I gotta watch that play from multiple angles to make sure. This
is where you want the 20 different camera shots.
Yep.
You know, a good way to start the day here, Lumi.
I know for sure that if you have a Chrono down and Clock hooks into it, the stun will hit even if the hero
stops, right?
The hero will stop at the edge. So it's just kind of weird. Not 100% sure how it works exactly.
Yeah, maybe that's only when you're hooking into it.
Yeah. Hooking out? I don't know.
Not sure. That was the first time I've ever seen a Chrono hit someone, and then it looks like they just got out anyway without, something like a swap or a punch hook. Woo! Alright, well, things are going to settle down a little bit now. At least hopefully. You did mention Nando got that Shadow Blade. James is working on his Orchid. Pretty potent pickup against the likes of Earth Spirit, Pugna. Really no solutions as of yet for that Orchid, nor do they have the most natural builders of said solutions. No one who really wants to get a Manta style here.
Dragon Knight is working
BKB,
towards speaking.
I guess for DK, but he's probably not the one you want to silence usually anyway.
It's their workaround was swap defensively. You have
maybe get a Yules on the Pugna.
Clockwork hooks in to make things hard. I'm very interested by the way that HellRaiser is building their items, right? You have a drums on Clockwork, which is not too crazy. And then you have Revenge also working to the drums. It seems like HellRaiser wants to finish this game and Silence comes in, but the hook as well as the stun misses. They pop the smoke, they pop the dust. They want Nando dead, but Nando just jumps away. He should be fine. I say that though,
he's still got Chrono, and coming in as the Witch Doctor, they may actually try to take this fight momentarily. 3 there. Queen of Pain with the haste TPing in, or rather streaming towards lane, I should say, and the Earthshaker also about to join the party. So HellRaisers, if they want to take this fight head on, they're walking into a full 5-man squad, and as James closes the distance, that Pugna Ward is about to be brought down. They will isolate, probably finish off 3-3 here, trapped in the trees. Really poor position for a Clock to be in, and he gets turned into a pile of mechanical rubble. Another pick off for Execration. HellRaisers just a bit off the mark as far as the timing goes. They slightly missed the silence. Boulder Smash combination. They were just a little bit late with the Clockwork hitting the creeps and weren't able to lock them down. They're just not quite hitting their spells to get that Void kill. And then they could have backed away, but they decided to chase.
And this is the second time that happened, right? They went for the Void and they miss out their combo. And Void is getting away with not building any defensive item and surviving ganks. As a result, I think HellRaiser has missed their timing window. I don't want to say entirely, but I don't think they've done enough.
They traded towers for free, without fighting,
right?
And weren't really taking extra towers at that point. They also have gone for mid-game items, like you said, and then they're not finding the kills as the third point. So that combination of things is, really changing the complexion of the game. And I agree with you that I think right now numerically it's a slight Execration gold advantage, but I think it's more strategically HellRaisers have geared up to dominate this first 25 minutes item-wise. Hero-wise,
they're not
dominating. They're actually losing slightly, which is losing by a lot because of the lineup and the way they've built.
Middle. We're going to see initiation from Lon. He's going to get blocked off on the left side. They get the 1 kill, and they're chasing for a little bit more. But on the backline, Swift Ending gives a Swift Ending to the Witch Doctor. He's just done.
He's hitting up a Raging Potato here, too. Backup TPing in. Earthshaker could be in danger. Kaiser going to bring down Chemo. They've overplayed their hand. It looks like Execration need to get the hell out. They've lost already 3. Might lose Raging Potato. Oh, close call. If the battery assault was active by 3-3 when he walked into those trees, I think he also gets that 4th kill.
Well, a good fight, I guess, for HellRaiser. The one thing that HellRaiser needs to worry about moving forward is that because they grouped up to do those, remember the Pugna Dragon Knight push early on in the mid lane, is that they're level gain is actually suffering heavily. That team fight just now really helped out. Gave him a little bit of a spike.
Oh, just wanted to farm the wave here. Nando in trouble. Boulder smash, nukes for the Pugna. Perfect cog to the pushback. Nets them another kill. It looked like he wanted to go for a solo kill on the Pugna. He shadow bladed in, was kind of camping outside the tower. And then he's like, I'm already here. I'll just go hit creeps. But there were 4 heroes off the map. At least, maybe 5, and he does get punished for it.
Well, this is going to be the last spike that I think HellRaiser has in terms of their lineup being strong. BKB as well as Aghanim Scepter picked up on their 2 respective cores. Got to make something of it. Take a tier 2, maybe think about Roshan, because the game is not going to go any better the way that Execration's hero is going to start scaling.
Now, it's, of course, a scary time to go for this push, as they do not have an Aegis, and they're walking into all of Execration's ultimates. Ideally, you want to spread here, at least ensure that there aren't multiple key heroes caught in that chrono. They are afraid. We've already got 1 Light of Heaven, so there's not room for another.
Everyone wants to be the Light of Heaven.
This is the one area where HellRaisers, I guess, they're not the best. Like, they're great at taking towers. They're not amazing at taking Roshan. So, perhaps with the Venge, Dragonite with an armlet, it's okay, but it's not fast enough to just like confidently go at it and sneak one.
Jump. Chrono.
Overcommit here on this clockwork. They're going to silence it. Snowball coming in, and they will drop the Chrono as well. The Kong's pushing Nando back, but he's a cheeky little bugger, and he'll time walk his way back in, get the kill.
Yeah, even though that teleport scroll had no chance of completing, by him TPing out, Nando was forced to use the Chrono. So pretty good trade in that regards, but
I think it's a really good trade. Now you actually can think about a heavy push.
Yep.
Go for the tier 2.
Dragon Knight's already on the case.
It's not like Clockwork's item progression is likely to have a big impact on the outcome of this game. So.
He's got a Yules. It's actually, I don't think I've ever seen that before, but makes sense, right? You're up against an Orchid.
Yules to set up your cogs.
Yeah, sure. You can even Yules to, you know, dodge Chrono if you time it right.
Raging Potato does get forced away, and this tier 2 at long last gonna fall. Honestly, I thought this would have fallen about 10 minutes ago.
Yep.
And HellRaisers just never wanted to commit. And now, like, that tower dropping is nice, but it just feels a bit late for what their lineup wants to achieve. So I think they're at a critical juncture here, Lumi. Do they try to reassess and take this later, or do they just all in on this next 10 minutes with items and gameplay and try to end the game?
I don't think they could take it later, simply because of the items that they went for. Like, if you're trying to go late as Venge, you pick up, you know, a medallion that helps you do Roche and get objectives. You pick up, let's say, a Midas on the Clockwork and scale into your late talents and stuff like that. They haven't done that, and they're pretty much all in and try to win the game fast. Also, to kind of augment your points about taking that tier 2 10 minutes earlier, I think the Pugna games that we've been casting, the game's already over by this point, right? Super has finished the game already.
Even if it's not actually done, like, all the lanes are pushed in, they have full control, they've probably taken a lane of frag.
Right.
That is certainly not the case here for HellRaiser.
We're, like, this game is just beginning for HellRaiser, unfortunately. Because it looks like it's going to be Execration taking over the tempo of the game.
Yeah, they will finally go back for the Roshan, 26 minutes in. Seeing a few heroes spot him, the Earthshaker, I believe, a moment ago they also saw the shots, and they will commit to this Roche. They do have the 1 point away from Terra, the forward Vengeance Zara, and they can give him the life drain, which is actually doing a decent job of bringing the old rock down. So HellRaisers will collect their Aegis, it looks like, unless something crazy happens. Chemo marches in, but doesn't look like he'll get there in time. 3 is ready. It's a Vanguard to try and ensure this Roche goes through completion, and indeed it will. So an Aegis claim by the Pugna. Now they jump forward, they look for more, they're going to catch out Nando and silence him. Now try to control him, swap him back, but he time walks away into the cogs, though. That might spell his doom.
Okay.
It will. The Dragon Tail gets him down.
Go, go,
He's
go.
He's got the buyback, and he may have no choice but to use it. This is a Pugna Dragon Knight lineup. If you don't buy back, they are likely taking a full lane of racks here. 40 seconds on the sideline. The glyph will come out. They're probably going to need about 30 to bring this tower and the melee down, would be my guess, if they commit, but they get scared, the Void buys back, and they will retreat. One more kill on that Void, and that could be not only one, maybe two lanes of.
Yep. Shrines are not open yet, but they will take a stack. I guess if you're HellRaisers, you wait for the Dragonite ultimate on to be back up again, and you just go for a decisive smoke. Maybe even just smoke right now. Forget about the Dragonite ult. Doesn't need it if the Void's dead. A lot of things went wrong for Nando though in that particular engagement. All the chains went just right for HellRaiser. He even jumped into the cog for the icing on the cake.
I think that does showcase though that like we're past the point where you can just run it around in Shadowblade and expect to ambush HellRaisers. You know, like you have to let someone else initiate or start it with the time walk, or wait until the fight's already started and then counter initiate. Like you can't just run in with Shadowblade against a TI caliber team when they know you've had a Shadowblade for almost 10-15 minutes and expect to get away with it.
Yep.
So,
I think
gotta respect your opponents.
The person that can run in soonish is the Earthshaker. He's finishing a BKB. Like, it's actually one of the tankiest items you could get at this point in the game against this lineup. So, Execration looking for a pickoff.
It's also important just to ensure that like you don't just get destroyed by clockwork in the fights, right? Him and the Earthshaker. Between the two of them, there's just so much sustained control that you're just likely getting chain stuff by batteries called the silence. And as I say that, well, he does get hooked out here, doesn't have that BKB yet, and will be punished once again, only reinforcing his desire to get it ASAP. Another death.
Even though he died there, I really like what they're doing. They're just putting the pressure on HellRaiser. HellRaiser's supposed to be the one that's ending the game right now, but instead they're getting picked off all over the place. You know, casting Enchant Totem, blinking in to hit the tier 3. That tier 3 is actually lower, I believe. Then they're about the same, both tier 3s. And if Execration can sneak a tier 3, I think the complexion of this game changes.
But HellRaisers can regroup now potentially as Kaiser moves in bottom. Nando, almost revealed himself. There wasn't any follow-up, so I'm not sure Kaiser can solo kill him, but he may chase for this. He's going to blink forward. Tries to wrangle that Void, who does have another time walk, gets away to safety. Team looking to cut him off if Kaiser can find him. Oh, doesn't guess right. Did use his Dragon form, so that's down again.
Yep.
Next one, though, is going to be the Mighty Frost Dragon.
Ooh, Execration wants to defend this tier 2. They're going to smoke up. Oh, they double smoke even.
It's a perfect time to do it, Lumi. There's no Frost Dragon. There's no Dragon form at all. That is a big missing tool here in the upcoming fight.
I wonder if HellRaiser expects it. There is no vision now. Ward gets dropped down. Sentry gets dropped down. They see the DK in the front. They don't want to go on him. He's got Armlet BKB. He is a tanky man. On the right side.
They're going to reveal their Pugna to start things off, but he does have the Aegis. Got to keep a good spread here. They know that there's so much AoE on Execration as they try to pull the Pugna in, force him out of position. Not going to happen. It was a good effort by Potato. He almost gets caught retreating. 3-3, fishing with the hook. But it won't hit Pater. Nando now sweeps around, but again, you can't just run it with Shadowblade and expect to get an easy ambush. There are sentry wards littering this area. Somehow, though, he has snuck all the way around. He's taking the long journey, and now he drops the chrono, and then walking back into it is Milan that sets up the 2-hero Queen of Pain ult. Should be 2 supports down to start the fight. Maybe more with Chemo coming in from the side. One Swift ending. J4's dead. Make it 3 down with the Aegis falling. Now it's going to be 4 as they get completely slaughtered. Only the blue golden dragon stands along with Swift ending. Round 2, can the cores bring it back? They kill off the Tusk. Now they turn for the Queen of Pain. Down for a minute. They do salvage it with a buyback from the Earth Spirit, rejoining the fight as quickly as possible, and RR has to waltz away. Now, when all of that is done, Lumi, the big payload has now been expended aside from the Echo Slam, so if HR want to buyback, force the next fight, they won't have to worry about that Wombo combo.
Nando is creep skipping. He wants to actually draw a couple people back. Milan is looking for this kill.
Gotta be careful. You could easily be solo killed by a Void, especially with that Diffusal Blade. Bashing, controlling, tries to drop the stone, but in comes the Pugna with the quick save, a little medical assist, and now the jump away. Nando, will he get stunned? Can Kaiser get a range? Oh, so close.
I actually think that he didn't need to blink that close because of the range Dragon Tail, but, well, Nando makes it out. That was a huge fight for Execration. Into the Aegis. It was just unfortunate that Pugna had the Aegis. He was alive, and then he pushed down that tier 2. But the way that the first initiation did not come cleanly, they tried to force staff the Pugna in, and it didn't work. I was like, oh my god, Execration was gonna.
Jay was trying to
there, yeah.
to do a little Ferrari 430 band service there with the offensive force stabs, but wait, we're work out as Potato jumps in. Oh, it's into the waiting arms of Pain. He does it for BKB. And now he's going to turn. Echo, Totem, let off your hate on that squishy little shamble of bones, and they will get the kill. Now J4 could be next. He swapped for the save. And now, not one, but two going down as they look for more. Who needs Chronosphere? Who needs Queen of Pain? Oh, certainly not Execration. Okay. They're looking for the third. Milan coming in late, gets off a great Magnetize, but doesn't have to follow up damage to secure any kills. So a series of chain feeds for HellRaisers all this game back. And that's without the ults being used aside from Echo. So come next fight, the whole combo is going to be online.
Yeah, Execration says the next fight is right now. They're paying out the bottom tier 3. They know it's low from the previous engagements that they've been doing there.
And they would love to get that a tier 3 down, try and get some shrine control.
They might get the Rex. It's but like you said, they have all their ults available.
They're so slow at taking objectives, though. I feel like they need a couple more kills to do that.
Well, Kaiser is found right now. He might be that one important kill. They dropped the Chrono for the Dragonite.
Didn't get off his BKB, so he's taking maximum damage here in this Chronosphere.
Oh my god.
Walrus Punch. Chain stunned for days.
Dude, he started the snowball when the Chrono was snowed up, timed it perfectly as the Chrono dropped, the snowball hit. My goodness. The surgical extraction right there.
And no buyback on the Dragonite. That's even bigger than the other heroes being dead earlier. They all would have respawned in time, but now Execration can take this tier 2. The game slipping a bit. HellRaisers' grasp is definitely loosening, and they can ill afford for that. This is only their second match of the group stage, but still, this is the type of team that you want to beat if you want to make a deep run here at TI. Someone who came in as a qualifier. Good opportunity, though. Milan hits the 2-hero Boulder Smash. Combine it with the hook shot. The follow-ups there from Swift Ending. It's Execration's turn to overextend. They lose 2 after the Dragonite kill. And now HellRaisers march back the other way. And bear in mind, there's no buyback on Tusk. I mean, these teams don't necessarily realize that all of these buybacks are unavailable, so they may not go for high ground, but I think just looking at HellRaisers' lineup, these are the type of heroes that anytime they see someone dead, they're like, well, yeah, let's go push. Let's go try and take a Rex.
Okay, Rocket Flare will find Raging Potato here. He does have a 4-staff available. How good is the Clock Hook? Not even available, so he's not going to go for it. And now, are we going to see some Power Blast?
That'd be pretty dope. That's so good. You could just use it when it's on cooldown.
Swift Ending walks up, start blasting away. Nothing that you could really do about it.
Just another day in the mines. And by the way, does have a BKB now. We didn't really talk about it much, but this item will certainly help him against the Void as they close it out. That's a 4-step Raging Potato going for the big plays. The swap save, though, is there. Now Swift Ending trying to turn things around. He does have the life drain, but he needs a good target to lock onto. The Frost Dragon with a BKB. Golden Pain raining down, and Execration put on their heels. They do have a buyback on their Void. They'll have to use it now. Commitment from them, but they don't have the full combo to go with it. The Dragonite's still full HP. He is very difficult to burst. They're going to try for the chase here. Swift Ending also surviving. They really want to get something out of this Void buyback. Triple buyback overall. The Chrono whips! Oh my god. Nando! A little too cheeky for his own good, perhaps, and now Kaiser's gonna get back in, pummeling James, trying to bring him down. The stuns are there, keeping them controlled as a nice cast comes through from the backside, but Kaiser just leaps forward, and with one blink, a fell swoop takes down the Quap. The Dragon's too strong. He finally will fall here, surrounded by 4, but it took forever and a day. He does have the buyback 3-3, perhaps next on the list. Purged, controlled, likely to drop as well. Make it 4. They don't need the Chrono, as it turns out.
Yeah, and they have a Shrine right there to juice right back up. They could go for the Roche if they want, or they could just push lanes and go for high ground. I think Roshan is a much safer choice, especially with all of these buybacks starting to be expended. Man, this game is just all over the place. This is a game back and forth.
This is definitely a game of ping pong right now.
For sure. That 4-staff by Jay, though. I mean, Pugna did have the BKB. He could have easily used the BKB to basically not get changed, not get orbited. But for the lack of better terms, I think Pugna was just shook. Like, he just did not expect that kind of initiation. The Fissure blocked the ramp into a 4-staff in. Milan trying to delay this Roche, but I think ultimately it will go to Execration.
Yeah, gif it, clip it, mom get the camera. That was that kind of moment as Milan moves into the Roshan pit.
Wait,
here.
Is he gonna
Trying
get
to
it?
test, he might be a little too early though. Magnetize comes out. Decent damage done, but not enough. Roshan will go the way of Execration. Age is snagged as well. Probably a worthwhile risk just rolling the dice. Your only support Earthshaker or Earth Spirit. A lot of your teammates are dead anyway. Yep. You come up clutch there and suddenly the game is completely changed. If you die, you give them a small amount of gold.
Yeah. It's a so what moment. I'm big with you.
I definitely think that's the type of play. It's like, oh yeah, he's feeding, but it's very much worth the risk, even if it is that 2% chance that you steal the Aegis. Whew. So they do get an Assault Cuirass here on Kaiser, and as for Pugna, his item progression is pretty much halted. As far as Execration goes, James picked up the Lincoln's BKB, so he's gone purely defensive. Have to imagine some bigger damage items are coming next, like a complete Bloodthorn perhaps. The Void's item progression has also been fairly non-existent, Lumi.
Yeah,
he's still not completed the BKB with that buyback earlier.
He's been dying a lot. He's buying back, like you mentioned.
Everyone's relatively poor in this game, I feel.
There's been like 5 or 6 buybacks at the very least. But the BKB is finished. Nando, because he has the Aegis, don't have to worry about buyback. In fact, the buyback is still on cooldown for a long while. So, there you go. He is now a big force. Because I don't think they can kill Nando anymore, unless they chainstun him 100 to death.
And Execration have a lot of ways to interrupt that, right? With the Shaker, the Tusk
Snowball,
save,
yeah.
the Cask even.
There
Like last fight, the Cask was big, but
damage here
comes Nando. Oh, he would have loved that DD rune. Under cover of Shadowblade, he time walks in, but he only fights the Venge. He then goes the other way, actually gets 2 on the boundary of the Chrono. Beautiful catch and no Venge in position to save them. She ran the wrong way, tried to Delta split, and now it ends up being a very ugly situation, but Kaiser is here. He's big, he's pretty bad, but they should be able to chain dash and control him. Should be, I say. Gets off 2 auto attacks, brings James down by about half HP. Still standing this ground. Man, if he just had one ally providing any sort of control during this time, I think he'd be taking 3 or 4 with him.
Yeah, Milan had a 4-man silence. I thought he was going to let loose that Magnetize. Now he drops it, but it's not going to be enough. He tries to escape. He will get hunted down, and that's going to be a 4-for-1 exchange by the end of the day. Huge Chronosphere by Nando. I thought he was going to miss it completely, but...
First it looked like he was only going to get the Venge, then it looked like he was going to miss it completely.
And then he got 2.
And then he got 2, and the Venge got caught by the shards of Chemo, which kept her away. She pathed to the right. To the east rather than just being able to head directly towards the Chrono for the swap. And that ultimately meant that it was a very successful 2-hero pickoff to start the fight.
Yeah. Execration will get the first lane of Rax. Respawn time. Not going to help out here. 40 seconds for Dragon Knight, and that's more than enough time for Execration to get out after the Raxes.
Fights are just a lot easier to execute now for Execration with the BKB on the Void, the Aegis, the Cheese.
Yep.
I think just generally better and more reliable late game initiation as well. Like, it's not single target stuff, it's huge AoE combos, also the Shaker. Any of these heroes can start the fight, set up a Chrono, an Echo, and if you get 2 with the Chrono, it doesn't matter if there's a swap, you're at least getting a kill. If you get the Venge, then you're guaranteed getting that kill. So, just feels much easier for them to find kills and then transition into objectives, whereas for HellRaisers, it's got to be close to flawless moving forward.
Yeah. To me, you know, like, both people are going into a gunfight. Execration are bringing out, you know, the big guns.
One of them has 1 bullet in a BB gun, and Execration has, yeah, the
automatic
bazooka and the Gatling gun ready to go.
So, to me, this is more like the strategy. I don't want to pin it down to the draft. It's just that HellRaiser had a very strong early to mid-game lineup, and they just could not catch the timing. Execration survived it, and now they are flexing the muscle. Like you said, though, HellRaiser is still capable of winning this game, but it has to be, you know, some of the best Dota they've played in their lives to have a shot.
Yeah, I still think DK is probably the single biggest hitter in the game. It's just that most of these fights he's been chain bashed.
Is he though? He had a double damage rune that last fight, and he had a BKB going, and it didn't feel like...
I mean, I definitely think he's doing more damage than a Void with the Shadowblade as a result. Like, maybe on a single target, the Void's a little more annoying, but it's just like, I just don't see the Dragon Knight getting to hit very much.
Well, I think what we're both saying is that neither of these heroes are hitting very hard because they're both relatively poor. Man, the observers today are just... Alright, okay, we'll ping some shrines.
Let's make sure that we do a little shrining of our own. Shrine up, boys.
Nice.
Honestly, pretty sure. Hopefully someone from Valve is watching and just disables that.
Whether we ping shrines?
Well, that you can see what the other other broadcasters would pay. If they would have pinged shrines for their own stream, that's their business. But get the hell out of our stream.
Could
be an opportunity, though. Looking for Raging Potato. They do get the jump here. Blinking in the Dragon Knight almost takes him 100 to 0, but the Glimmer Cape comes through. Is going to save the day. They didn't have the detection to deal with Raging Potato. Now they try to focus him. He just wildly is going to get pushed around to the north. I think probably still goes down. Somehow stays alive. They've caged this dragon, controlled it beautifully. Great swap out though. The hook interruption takes the Witch Doctor down. Kaiser barely alive. He maybe could go for an armlet toggle. No, he's dead. And with the death of the Dragon Knight, the fight gets very hard from here. Nando though, being controlled, being silenced, being stunned, dusted up. They get him anyway. He's down for 100. The Echo comes through, takes down the Skeleton Man. Execration trying to salvage this fight, but if they know that Void is unavailable, they can really look for the punish here. James is at the extra support pillar at this moment though, as he jumps forward, finds a double kill of his own, salvaging the fight. They're lacking the damage now. Unless that Pugna wants to buy back, they might lose their whole team again. So close.
The Shaker is so alive. Pugna 33 comes in, heroic play, gets the 1 kill, looking for a second. Yule Scepter picks him up. Does he have cogs? No, he doesn't. And now Raging Potato trying to run out there with the BOTs will not
get it. Is it his turn to get a triple kill? He wants Chemo as well. Out comes the Sigil.
Hasterun!
Oh, the Hasterun! You gotta be kidding me, Ice Frog.
Oh my god. Plan calculated.
Even Ice Frog loves Pinoy Dota.
So, you know why they couldn't kill the Shaker? You said there was no detection. Venge flashed the dust on the right side, but the dust range
didn't hit him.
It didn't hit them. That was the problem. Pugna was trying to chase him down, but he had BKB, so the life ring wasn't doing anything. And for the rest of the fight, that Shaker was such a nuisance.
The thing is, he actually ran to the right. He ran into the sentry. They almost killed him while he was under the sentry.
And he force-stepped
to the north. They literally went ring around the rosy, like just, you know, heading all the way up and around, chasing him. Meanwhile, the Dragon Knight lost like 3/4 of his health, just being completely chain stun, maledicted, tanking a full duration death ward practically.
I think the problem for that half of the fight was the fact that Pugna wasn't there. Like, he was chasing a Shaker, he wanted the kill, but honestly, the
Shaker should be healing the Dragon Knight during that time.
Or just blasting them. Like, Shaker tanked for a good 5 seconds. Imagine if there was a Pugna there, Decrep blast with Veil. Boy, he at least kills, you know, Boy or something, right? Like, it's... HellRaiser, I don't know how many smokes that they have left. They don't have anybody, any heroes carrying it. So that is going to be a concern. I think HellRaiser needs to start the fight like they have, like trying to blow up somebody in the front, or somebody first. Because I don't... If they don't have the start that they did in these team fights, they're not going to come close to winning.
More Lincoln Spheres. Void is now going to go for one.
Everybody buying tomes. Queen of Pain, very close to the level 25, so she is going to be unkillable, essentially. Void, I imagine he's going to pick up the plus 600 time walk range.
That seems definitely the more popular of the two.
Yeah. And I think the better choice in this game as well, right? Not much.
It's just always useful, right?
Yeah.
It basically means you have a free blink dagger that can't be put on cooldown at that point.
Iris Smokes, Radiant has a ward to check it out.
The Dragon Knight's the one they're going to find first, but Kaiser does manage to get off his Dragon form. Will he BKB in time? Does he realize how many heroes are committing? In goes Nando. The swap out, though, by J4 keeps Swift Any alive. Now he can maybe heal him. No, he decrepifies him, puts him under for the moment. The Queen of Pain ult is there. A dagger through the heart of HellRaisers. That's Swift ending now, trying to stand his ground, deal with that Faceless Void, does get up to the Decrepify, but finally it ends, and in goes the bash, in comes the kill, down he will go, and now they can turn their attention to the Dragon Knight. Fight after fight, it's just Execration finding those early key pickoffs, and then almost overrunning HellRaiser's position, but perhaps not this time. Hookshot comes through, it's 3-3 again to the rescue. He was there early, and he's delivering now even later on as the Glimmer Cape from Chemo will end. Scepter, try and stall it out a little bit longer. Now the stun comes through and down. Chemo will go. Another triple for 3-3. A 4-3 victory for HellRaisers.
What is happening? You don't expect a Dragon Knight Clockwork to be carrying 45 minutes in the game. Now, granted, I think we're kind of operating under the traditional lenses of these heroes. The talents definitely help, right? You just don't expect a Clockwork to be outputting that much damage, but he does have the plus 40 battery assault damage. He has the longer duration on the battery assault.
I mean, one battery assault when there's no BKBs is dealing, what, like 1,500 damage or something?
Yep, and you have 100% uptime on your battery assault as well. You basically have it running as long as you have mana, and he has enough mana. The surprising thing is that Dragon Knight is able to do this much.
He also does have the Egg, so now you have the 10-second hook shots coming out throughout the fight. Sorry, 12 seconds. And constantly can be interrupting and resetting these gates.
He is the disabling machine, the one-man wrecking crew by himself. And now it's HellRaiser into the pit. If you ask me 45 minutes in the game, who scales better, I would have said hands down level 25 Quab. You got the Void that's scaling.
I mean, this Dragon Knight's about to get a Daedalus. I think he is easily the hardest hitter in the game, even if Quab has a little bit more net worth once he completes that. He's going to grab the cages here.
I guess a big part of the Quab is that she has about 10k net worth invested into items that don't help you.
Yeah, Link gets BKB.
Yeah, it doesn't help you when you're getting wrecked. Like, okay, Milan got clipped. I'm not sure whether James was paying attention. Evidently not. Silence the... Oh, he misses the hook.
Could have been huge. That's on the bench coming into position instead. James is going to silence that Earth Spirit. Thinks about to go. Char are going to cluster up now. Marching down mid once more onto the breach. Can they break the base this time? A Dragon Knight pugged the lineup. Still in the game. Still looking for their first lane of Brags. At 48 minutes, something you really do not expect to see. By this point, either they've won or the game's over is how most would have predicted. But indeed, they fight on. Kaiser on the high ground. He's going to eat the Maledict. The range rack's now there. And meanwhile, the Chronosphere committed is going to catch up that pesky Pugda, but the swap out at the final hour. The Queen of Panel not quite connected on Swift Ending, so he stays alive. They still focus here. Eyes on the prize, but the Rex isn't down. Swift Ending man-moded in, giving him the sucky, but he hasn't finished off the melee, and now he's going to go down. Aegis has been expended. That's 4 dead with the Aegis. Likely to be a 5th. I think Dragon Knight didn't even get up the cheese that fight. Indeed, Le Fromage still in his inventory. Might have been deep backpacking it when he fought. No, so it's 6.
He had it the whole time. He had it the whole time. He wanted to basically get the most value out of it. Raging Potato recognizing says, I'm going to go in with a solo Echo Slam and killed him.
One buyback, Lumi, aside from this clock. Can Clock and Dragon Knight do it again?
Dragon Knight has to, but the problem is he's going to come back as a pitiful human form. I'm not sure whether he can make the defense. I mean, at this point, you just buyback, right? It doesn't matter if you don't finish the Daedalus.
At this point, Earthshaker is your siege engine with that enchant totem. Constantly dishing out huge chunks of damage to these towers. Gives it another wallop, takes it down. Execration right back in the game. HellRaisers overplaying their hand and getting punished. They saw blood in the water, but Execration, it was only a ruse. A breathe fire to try and slow it down. 2 melee racks have fallen. Well, if anyone hits that one, there you go. And now looking for the Megas, and with that, potentially the game. There are 4 alive, but fighting 4v5. Here, if anybody dies, they won't have the buyback, so they have to be cautious about how they take these fights. The Dragon Knight blinking in, but he will get quickly dealt with. The BKB from Nando. The bashes are coming out. He needs to get off that cheese. The BKB do something, but he can't. He's controlled for ages. They had to tap the shrine to try and keep alive. Now the BKB comes out for Kaiser. He turns the fight around, but he's not finding kills. Nando resets. Now the bubble and trouble perhaps for HellRaisers. Mountie, they're going to lose the Earth Spirit. Dead for 60. No buyback there either. Kaiser controlled in the shards. Now the snowball coming through. James will blink out. Just kiting the dragon. Focusing on objectives. Nando surges back in. He wants to throw the tower. He's going to take it down. Tier 3 fallen. Looking for the melee next. James will go unstoppable, and it seems the end is nigh. HellRaisers hath been slain and cast back into the abyss from whence they came. It felt like they'd clawed their way back into a game they had no business being in, but Execration put a stop.
Well, both teams, right? Execration looked like they were in so much trouble early on. They kind of withstand that. They were able to take down the tier 3 on the bottom, slowly whittling HellRaiser down. And HellRaiser, all of a sudden, it was like clockwork, and Dragon Knight just came online. If there's anything item-wise for HellRaiser, maybe a Vlad's would have done them a lot, because that Dragon Knight, especially towards the later half of the fights, he was just right-clicking. His HP slowly drops. If he had any lifesteal items, I think he might have been able to out-sustain Execration, but...
Execration, they had a very rough day 1, starting 1 and 3. They did have to face one of the premier LGD squads, who are still, I believe, undefeated here so far. TI, maybe that's changed as the day's action has begun with 4 streams simultaneously, but now 2 and 3, HellRaisers 1 and 2. We'll see if Execration can make it a 2-0, or if HellRaisers are going to battle back and force it to a 1-1 draw after this. Stick around. And for Execration, felt a little bit more like an overall just team effort, if anything. Nando came up clutch with a couple of Chronospheres. Chemo had the shards that kept that Venge away in the one big team fight in the river, but could have easily gone the other way. So teams seem pretty evenly matched, and with that, we're going to enter the draft.
Oh, you're still in darkness. For me, I actually have to... The sun has risen up.
You know, the thing is, it's not actually our feed being sent out to the viewers, so it's entirely possible the observer PC looks just fine. But yeah, okay. I have this interesting visual thing right now where my draft is just all shadows and darkness, which is perfect because a creature of ultimate darkness has been selected.
Yeah, if the game is constantly Nightfall, I think Night Stalker will be one of the best heroes in the game.
OS Frog.
5 seconds remaining.
And one thing I do want to mention as Night Stalker being the first pick is that Night Stalker statistically has not been doing well at all in this tournament. So surprised to see that HellRaiser is still valuing him so highly. And we see Execration going for more of the C special. A lot of the C teams really like what Witch Doctors offer. A little bit of everything. You got some strong lane control, you got some good disable, some good kind of group up and pushing in the Voodoo Restoration, and of course some good damage output in his ultimate.
Yeah, they love Witch Doctor. They pick it early, they pick it on its own. It's not like designed to be a synergy pick. It's not designed to be a counter pick to say Enchantress or Jet. They just like Witch Doctor.
Yep. In
a way that really almost nobody else does. I mean, we see the hero situationally from other teams, but very situational.
Like, I think it all started with Nuts picking it himself back in the day. I think he's still the best Witch Doctor in C. Now you see DJ picking it a lot for Fnatic to kind of suit their group up playstyle with QO. But, same thing here. Most likely gonna see RR playing it.
I mean, do you actually think the hero's strong, or is this just purely like a comfort pick?
I think it's a comfort pick, and he fits really well into a lot of different drafts because his skill set is so versatile. Like last game, we were seeing the praises of Witch Doctor because his Death Ward combines so well with the Chronosphere. This game, we could be saying, look, you know, Voodoo Restoration allows them to go for an early game push. It's just that the hero does a lot. Hey! Alright, I think this hero should be picked a little bit more. And we're gonna see, most likely, Numic. Or Chemo, rather, charge across the map.
Yeah, the Space Cow, Intergalactic. It's back.
5 seconds remaining.
Interesting. Also another hero that we generally only see situationally and not early. I guess in theory, you know, if it's nighttime and you get vision on the Night Stalker, you can just charge him, keep tabs on him. So there's like maybe a slight element there that we can play with, but you know, where do we mostly see Spearbreaker? It's like if someone picks Bounty Hunter and you can carry Dust early, you know, the old EG strat. So yeah, I am interested by these Execration picks. I wonder, does it catch HellRaisers off guard?
I don't personally like Spearbreaker picked so early because then you could pick certain mids that are less resistant to it. For example, if you see a Shadow Fiend, you're like, yeah, let's go Spearbreaker because Shadow Fiend just has absolutely no counterplay once the Spearbreaker is charging across the map. But now that you know that this is Spearbreaker, you could pick something like, for example, an Invoker in the mid lane. You see him coming, easy cold snap. In the mid game, Tornado is the easy way to get rid of him. Blast, EMP, Tornado. I think the Spearbreaker pick was a tad too early.
So HR go really focused here on the tempo controlling and the map control. They pick up 2 great gankers. They have a lot of vision now to play around with, especially at nighttime. So as for Execration, very limited vision, just the charge thus far. Curious to see if they worry much about that, if they try to match it in any way. You know, there's always heroes like Beastmaster that you can consider. We did see the Vengeful Spirit come out last game, who's you know, a decent vision hero, I guess. And they're gonna ban the Venom now. Another vision hero.
To my memory, I don't think Execration play that many kind of these like Beastmaster, core heroes like Zeus that gives you vision. So I think they're gonna be pretty much stuck in the dark, which is gonna be a big advantage for HellRaiser. One of the things that impresses me a lot about the last game, despite the fact that they lost, is some of their fight selection. The ability to say, look, we have the vision advantage around the Roshan, we're going to just walk in and take the Aegis. And I think having such a big vision advantage this game will allow them to take way better fights. So far, I like the draft much more.
Dude, Spearbreaker looks so cool when the whole game is just shrouded in darkness. You just see these 2 glowing red eyeballs. That is terrifying.
Is that a lantern or is that just like a morning star with like
HellRaisers
magic
turn
imbued
to
into it?
bat. Execration's turn to
That
pick.
is badass, is what it is.
That is just cool. LD, can you not Instagram while we're casting for a $20 million tournament?
Someone gave me a potential fix, but it does not. Sad to say.
HellRaisers turn
So actually, HellRaisers banning out the Lifestealer here, and Legion Commander will be selected by Execration. So what could have been a great little package to deliver, courtesy of the Bat Rider, will not ultimately end up being available to them.
Okay.
Yeah, the Legion, obviously, we've talked a lot about the Legion as like the best option for countering Bat Rider if you want that out of the off lane. And with an early Witch Doctor Spirit Breaker duo, you pretty much know those are supports, so this is really all that's left aside from Abaddon if you really want to directly counter that lasso.
Very good against the Night Stalker as well, because Night Stalker's silence, I believe, is what, 7 seconds during nighttime. It's pretty ridiculous. Legion being able to use her low cooldown spell to get rid of it is decent. I wonder if something like a Lifestealer would be in the cards. Never mind Spandau.
Welcome to the draft, Lumi. Enjoy your stay.
The fact that you are Instagramming and still get more out of the draft than me just fully paying attention to it is it says something.
Raise your fire, Lumis, boys. No. So yeah, HellRaisers, obviously they have the control now. We're looking to see what are their big damage dealers that they want to put around this. You know, one hero that's really disappeared, Lumi, at least to my, to what I've seen, is the TA. Where are all the TA picks?
I think the rise of Veno, in particular, in terms of how commonly he's picked up, might be one of the reasons. Alright, that is some damage. That is some combo.
They have a very mobile lineup now. Heroes that can dish out damage from, or get around very quickly, and dish out damage from almost anywhere, it feels like. So,
10 seconds.
still, teamfight not HellRaiser's strong suit. They are very much focused on the single target pickoff. At the same time, so too is Execration. Neither team really going for that beefy 5-man composition. Also, neither team really is that good at sieging right now. No one has that big objective taker, so that is something I'm curious to see. Is there an adjustment to resolve that?
HellRaisers turn to pick.
Queen of Pain for Execration, one of their stable heroes, no surprise there. What I am surprised about is Ancient Aberration picked into a Spirit Breaker. This Ice Cream Man is just food for the cow. Cow just charges in.
Cows eat ice cream? That's kind of messed up, isn't it?
A little bit of, is it cannibalism?
It's not cannibalism because it's not like their flesh. It's just weird.
Isn't it pretty common a lot of like animals eat their own offspring, or like chicken eat eggs and stuff like that?
I think there are cases chickens do not eat eggs. However,
They pick open the eggs, I know.
or if they do, that is certainly news to me. However, there are certain animals. Mostly, they tend to be like kind of nasty creatures, like I would say like spiders and like lizards and stuff, or fish that will like eat eggs. Yeah, but
Actually,
it's usually only one gender, and I think it's often like the male that eats them.
yeah, it's the father cat actually likes to eat kittens.
Cats?
Yeah, seriously.
Really?
They want to eat the kittens so the mother get into heat faster again.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't they also want to, spread their genetic code and propagate? How can you do that if you're killing all your own offspring?
I think they just like the act of propagating.
Okay.
Figure that.
The act of propagate. All right, back on the draft here. HellRaisers, they get their damage dealer now. They're going to grab the Ember Spirit. Again, still nobody that's good at taking objectives. That is the big thing that they are lacking.
I really
but they have
like
great pickoff.
I really like Weaver here because Ancient Aberration plus Weaver is such strong lane dominance.
5 seconds.
You put the
remaining.
chilling touch and you just go in, and it solves the issue of the whole tower hitting, like you're mentioning. You are slightly weak to the burst potential of Legion locking you down and then Queen taking you out, but that is something that you can play around if you're careful.
Yeah, I mean, even Spirit Breaker can help out in those situations, but
Okay.
HellRaisers, there's your building hitter. They're
Sort
going
of.
to grab the Sven. And with that, they've got some beefy physical damage to go with what was almost entirely a magic damage composition, so I like that. Gives them a nice spread. Execration, meanwhile, looking for their final pick. It will be a core, probably their safe laner, Fernando. Last time it was Void, but he's banned. Who you liking here, Lumi?
Something that could kite the Sven. I'm thinking you could bristle and tank through it, Weaver to dodge things, or the good old Sven counter, the Razor himself. Razor, very good against Sven, but not as good against the Ember. But
Oh god, everyone looks amazing.
in the darkness,
Look at that, that's so cool.
you could only see the sword,
Aw.
sort of.
Dude, he looks infinitely cooler. He's like an evil Sven. Yes, I am taking pictures because I've never seen them.
I'm glad that
Don't-
one of us is
don't
taking
Halo me.
taking this seriously.
I am. I'm getting excited about Dota.
I'm just... What is this? I want to go back to sleep.
Tired?
Yeah. I woke up at 4:30 for absolutely no reason.
Well, too bad. We've got amazing Dota 2. This is the International Lumi, the biggest prize pool ever. $23
You don't get to say that as you're
million.
Instagramming Dota Wildcast.
I am sharing my enthusiasm and
Alright.
love of the game in all forms, all methods, at all times.
33 on the Ancient Apparition. We need a swap, friends. Or this is...
No, it's a core AA? Okay. Oh, no.
on the
that's-
offlane version. Alright, there's a swap.
Yeah, definitely not on the offlane.
Yeah. So one thing about the Sven AA combination is that there is a 4-second chain stun if you time things properly. You Stormhammer and you Kofi at the same time, and the Kofi will trigger, and it is the bee's knees.
Is it?
It is actually the bee's knees.
AA has definitely risen in popularity, you know, since 6 months ago, I would say,
Yep. From unpicked, sometimes picked,
to sometimes mid,
to sometimes mid. Yeah.
situationally. All right, all my settings are working. So, for those of you who were here for the first game and were unimpressed by the camera control, well, at least I won't have any excuses. If it's bad this time, it's just my fault. Last time
that's
I
just-
didn't have working hotkeys,
That's weapons.
and by my I mean weapon.
This taunt though, are you watching this? On the Spirit Breaker?
Slide in his way.
Like I'm sure he got his milk this morning. He's about to get some ice cream too.
Yeah. You think so?
Yeah.
I think that's dangerous. You're diving him into a lot of heroes that can punish you. That is one thing I like about the way HellRaisers drafted is they picked a lot of tools to punish a Spirit Breaker charge.
Right, and that's why like during the draft I don't think you pick Spirit Breaker second.
Right.
It's just so easily punished. Ember in particular is so easy
Easy to hit the chains. Even the Night Stalker can hit a void, especially now that he can fly over trees and
Yep.
you know, position himself so he doesn't get hit by the charge while he's casting it.
Especially if he gets the plus 100 cast range. That he's almost gonna be guaranteed getting this game. Just to have a long range way to cancel it. Raging Potato. I did mention, I believe in the draft of game 1 that they love picking a whole bunch of position 2 heroes and not putting it mid. We're going to see Raging Potato playing in a safe lane prop. Really takes me back in the days of Dota 1 Pinoy where, you know, there's 3 couriers. You put Quap in the safe
constant
lane.
bottle service.
Yeah,
You
you put a Dragon Eye mid, and it's like,
know, some people go to the club for their bottle service, but Pinoys, they go to the fields of Dota for.
I mean, Pinoy is really ahead of their time. They discover room service before, we even know about it. Having your own personal courier is just room service, right?
There you go. Although it seems to only bring you a very limited selection of drinks, I have to say.
Hey, it's after hours, so kitchen's
You
closed.
take what you can. Kitchen's closed. So Nando on the Razor, as you mentioned, lots of position 2s. He'll be in the off lane for now. Looking at the setup here, it's 2-2-1. Gonna be Raging Potato against this annoying tri-lane. I mean, not really a whole lot of farming likely to happen here. Does have to be careful. I feel there is certainly some kill potential if they get the Korean proc.
Away.
The Void interrupting the blink animation. If they follow that up with the Stormbolt, like, he's dead. So
Maybe-
he does have to respect.
If he selected silence, that could have been a kill actually, maybe. But what it matters is that Raging Potato is getting no farm. Are we gonna see the first account of a jungle Queen of Pain at this international?
Get that Iron Talon ready, Bimbo. Let's go.
He's gonna get a D ward. This will help. 100 gold. Mid lane here, we're gonna have an LC versus Ember matchup. A pretty decent one for LC if you ask me, right? Like very easy to break the Flame Guard with your overwhelming odds. You got Moment of Courage, walk up to the lane, hit Kaiser a couple of times. Even has an Orb of Venom, not something you see.
Nando going deep up top. I think that's only a low one now. It is enough though. RR scoring the first blood with the help of Nando. Alright, things already looking up, Lumi. I've caught 100% more kills through this point in the game compared to the last one. Here we go.
Don't be so hard and stuff, it's fine.
I'm not.
Touche.
It does seem like the lanes are working out reasonably well here for HellRaisers, at least in terms of the farm department. As Chemo thinks about that charge in mid, but as mentioned, Searing Chains is just very annoying to try and charge into. You really have to catch him like coming through the trees, you know, with a Shadow Blade in order to reliably get those off.
Do you think that Execration should go for a lane swap? Put the Razor bottom, well, put your whole lane bottom and move it off. Queen right now, well, that's a change that's happening.
Oh, if the Night Stalker's there, that is a kill. Void him, he doesn't get the blink off, the animation gets cancelled in his bed. So.
You need to actually cast the Kofi before the stun even hits. That's
generally the ideal way to do it. They cast it like the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, to answer your question, I don't really know. I feel like a Razor, if he's up against that tri-lane, is also probably going to die. Because the passive is pretty nice against all those single target spells, so maybe not. But like I don't think they're getting value out of a Queen of Pain pick right now. It's like you pick Queen of Pain to win the lanes, to farm really well, and then the hero obviously can scale, but we're just not seeing that as action breaking out. Up top, though, they are really punishing 3-3. That's another Maledict takedown. Crucial for them that they're making up for this tri-lane, because Sven is free farming and Quamp is getting nothing.
Yep. So
they basically have to win both of the other lanes. Mid lane, they're winning by a moderate margin in CS. Top lane, obviously, they're dominating that regard, but I don't know if it's enough.
Oh, another missed chain. Now we're going to see the charge in from
Oh,
Evo.
Pushing it back into the tower, but he does have the war cry.
Yep. Good damage, though. Jay out of regen pretty much, but he's going to, well, try his best to get some CS under the tower.
It's the downside partially, I think, to just picking these heroes. Like, you maybe could put the Legion bottom, but Queen of Pain is not going to be able to do a whole lot to shut down an Ember Spirit 1v1. So, still going to be farming one way or the other. As James gets aggressive here on Kaiser, diving him. He's actually got a haste through bottled up, can threaten for the kill. Milan does make his first rotation, though. It is nighttime now. He's going to sneak around, has the Hunter in the night. Razor not the ideal target with the point unstable current.
And the phase boots. I think he's just a tough kill. Yeah, he knows that he's actually being hunted. In fact, thinking about coming in. Overall, this early game, I think I favor Execration. Yeah, the Queen's not doing well, and Queen's not one of those heroes that could afford to have a bad early game, but they're shutting down 33, which to me is the biggest playmaker, and Ember's being controlled relatively, so I like things going pretty well. And you generally don't see mid LC that often, but one of the advantages she gets is she picks up so many easy kills early on because she gets 6 fast, and having the bottle actually helps a lot. Your farm, just for example, the haste rune right now, if he's 6, he gets to like run up to AA and just get a kill. And we'll see if the runes will help out James as the game goes on.
Yeah, it's really nice to see a Legion having such a strong start, as he is going to haste in, start hitting Kaiser under his tower. It's that passive like very nice for him. Definitely can threaten for a kill at level 6, especially with a +1, maybe Chemo charging in from the side. Perhaps the Queen of Pain making a rotation, but it's going to be a little while before Potato leaves his lane. In good news, Lumi, he is getting his levels. He's already 4 in the side lane, so that's not too bad. He's not really being denied experience, particularly, just he's also not CS. By the opening again on 3-3, gets the plasma field off. That cast keeps on bouncing. Beautiful bounces. RR, the Witch Doctor God, coming up flush again.
Moments like these, and you're just like wondering why. This is why they pick mid lane.
Oh, nice kill for HR. Now the charge comes through. He's going to connect on Kaiser, but he's got the Flame Guard protecting him. Greater Bash won't be enough. He's got the ability to block some of that magic damage. The cast comes in, but too late. So Spirit Breaker gives up another. Could have been 1 kill, becomes 2. Sloppiness from Execration. Still leading here as far as the raw numbers go.
I didn't see how the fight started. I wonder how James got caught out and got so low.
So he basically dove the tower, was tanking him, and then the AA came in, and all of a sudden where he was able to trade with the Ember and just go heal.
Yeah.
With the +1 of the AA, he was just playing as though it was a 1v1, and the AA showed up unexpectedly.
Well, duel is available now.
It's unfortunate too because he had the level advantage. He could have gone for a duel before Kaiser hit level 6, but not anymore.
Oh, Night Stalker is setting up a bait, but here comes Chemo as well. Charge him up. Night Stalker should be fine. Fly over the tree if he needs to.
Yeah, Spearbreaker is one of the few heroes that can just man up on a Night Stalker, even at night. So I suppose that is where Execration see the value in the hero. Now, obviously, he doesn't give you as much in the vision department, and I don't think he really scales nearly as well. Partially because he basically never gets farmed, but in the bottom lane, pretending trying to TP out. Cask says no. It's controlled. It bounces back again. Completely shut down and will be finished off. And Potato getting the last hit. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, first duel of the game. Opportunity here on the Ember Spirit. Can they finish?
No!
Oh, he remnants it. He survives. The boy lives. Oh, they should have had him.
Oh, he has a regen rune going as well. Gets cancelled immediately by Raging Potato, but he's out of mana.
More chains here. They can go for this follow-up kill. It's going to proc the cold feet. Maybe with a void coming in. Potato might die as well. 3 more auto attacks will do the trick. Oh, but they only get 2.
All right, the charge bring him further away. Queen of Pain barely survives. We'll have the Shrine available. Pops it immediately. Close calls absolutely everywhere. Just like a continuation of game 1, pretty much.
Woo! That was close. But Execration continue to not be able to finish off Kaiser. They get punished multiple times now for their attempts to deal with him, and that mid lane is just feeling like a no-fly zone for them. Now it is about to be daytime. They will get their phase boots on James. Potato's about to hit 6, so like some things are coming together to maybe set up for this next fight. They're gonna make their move now on Swift Ending. No teleport scroll available for 3 seconds. 1 bash certainly should stall his demise. Maybe even without it, they'll get the kill. Cast comes through. Paladin follow-up, already level 2. Scream. Another bash. Down he will go. Execration. Continue to punish the Sven, who had a great start bottom, but second death in as many minutes for him.
RR is absolutely everywhere. I'm very impressed with... Like, Witch Doctor is not exactly a mechanically intensive hero, but just being at the right place at the right time. Probably the most important skill for any support player to have.
Spidey senses. Yep. You know those the hexagons that we used to do?
Uh-huh.
There should just each player had one. One of the categories should be Spidey senses.
Spidey senses. How do you like measure it? Just how many ganks you dodge?
It's just a feeling thing, right? I don't think there's any. I don't know if you want to try and make it statistical.
Okay.
Like you could, but
I mean, none of those hexagons were originally statistical. Just give Pavosa 4.
and you'll lower it up. Pavosa has a really good sense of humor about that stuff. Yeah, I don't know if he did at the time when it came out. Definitely shared a few laughs and a few drinks over the years. You missed Pavosa playing Dota for me?
I think so. I think he's definitely one of the most biggest entertainers when it comes to Dota.
Dotas?
Dotas.
The Dotas?
All of them.
I'll take one big helping of the Dotas, please. Back to what you're getting here at TI. Four simultaneous games.
Too many Dotas.
Non-stop action. 48 hours or so of Dotas per day. I dig it.
You won't get out of there,
So available, but not getting out there. As mentioned, there's a lot of ways to punish that charge. He will be finished off.
He had to turn towards the mid lane, and he had a napalm on him, so it was like the slow motion turn. He thought he was in Matrix, but not really the right one.
Execration's doing a really good job of pressuring towers. They did it early last game with a much more obviously pushed red lineup as well, but oh, Nando in the bottom lane. There was a lasso in reserve. He gets punished, roasted up, and spit out. Just wanted that extra bit of chip damage and will pay the price. Execration definitely playing sloppy, Lumi. A lot of avoidable deaths here. You know, Razor overextending, James playing too cocky in the mid lane. Multiple times they try to dive the Ember and end up, I think, feeding a total of 3 kills away. So, not really correctly assessing where HellRaisers are going to be and how strong they are in some of these fights.
Chemo looks like he was discovered here. It looks like he's going to get pretty much surrounded from all sides. Milan moving forward. He's trying to taunt. All they have to do is make sure that he doesn't charge out, and they have more than enough disables to make that happen. Kaiser is on a killing spree.
Spirit Breaker on a feeding spree, 0-4. Ouch. I mean, you did mention pick it early, and it's a counterable hero, and it does feel like that's the case.
Yeah, and also I don't feel like he got a lot done in the early game. I mean, largely due to the fact that he was picked early and he got countered, but the one hero that he can bully, the Ancient Apparition, he wasn't really in the lane bully, which I find surprising as well.
How do you transition now if you're Execration? And I think a good moment now, 12 minutes in. How is the game going for each team overall in your eyes, and who has the edge moving forward?
I think both teams are playing pretty much a similar game plan, right? It's just relatively high tempo. You fight a lot. Neither team is really strong at taking tower. Sven eventually will be, but not for the next 10 to 15 minutes. So it's all about fighting, and I think HellRaiser is just a better fighting lineup. They have better initiation in the form of Batrider. They have better vision when it comes to it with things like Ice Vortex as well as the Night Stalker. And have better burst damage, triple Remnant and Sven. Execration does have, you know, all those categories ticked, but just to a lesser degree. So I think for Execration, they just need to make it up with better positioning and better initiation. A lot of it comes from James, but, you know, he's not... He's going to have his blink, but I expected a little bit more out of the mid LC.
Yeah, me as well. Still just mostly been farming. He is close to the blink now. So perhaps with that James blink being picked up, things will change. I agree. It's rather quiet up until now. They are prepping for a go on Kaiser. If he walks into dual range, he is done for. But so far, not obliging. King close to the tower and actually zips away to the woods. Seems he knew that something was up. Well, meanwhile, on the bottom lane, Nando gets jumped. The Witch Doctor, Death Ward, almost finishing off J4 though. Forces them on their heels, and now Potato hunting forward. Once 3-3, they get the charge. That's likely a dead Batrider. Could be real bad for HellRaisers if they keep on chasing too far. Potato comes in, cleans him up. J4 could be in trouble. He actually throws out the Ice Vortex, which also reveals he's in the neighborhood. A claw bolt thrown wildly. We'll get him the kill. He ends up falling, but a 2-for-1 there.
Work, dude. At first, I was like, okay, he jumps in like that, gets the kill. I don't think he needed to because the charge eventually would have gotten it, but at the same time, whether the Spirit Breaker could charge through a tier 1 tower with all these heroes was, you know, very questionable.
It was a dubious proposition.
Yeah, but it was just a standard Bimbo play, right? He goes in hard, gets things done, and on the bottom, here comes the charge. Maledict, everything is dropped. The duel comes in, but I'm not sure whether he can win the duel. In fact, he might just die right now.
He's not even close to winning it. Execration. Another 2 heroes thrown into the meat grinder. And that's really just been the story of the game. Every time they find a good fight, it's scrappy, they work hard for the kills, they get them. They then just take a pretty lopsided one that's not in their favor and give that lead right back away.
I think the idea was there, it's just that they weren't able to initiate first with the duel. Like, had the Warcry not come out, I think that engagement would have ended up a little bit differently. They would still lose a couple of heroes, but they would have definitely gotten the Sven.
HellRaisers certainly appreciating the handicap, I would say. They will now get to work on this tower bottom. Swift ending with the early Mask of Madness. Gonna be going back for a quick blink here. No tank items, just wants to be able to get in and out of fights, farm as rapidly as possible.
I like the choice here. This game is about the fights. It's about the initiation. So making sure that you're not too reliant on the Batrider is definitely a good choice. TP's in from Kaiser and ping it out.
Do have a ward in the neighborhood, actually 2.
Maybe LC is just not the hero for Execration. Remember yesterday when Jay was playing it and he could not... I think he ended the game with 0 dual damage. In fact, he gave away more dual damage to the enemy as well.
I remember that game being a really bad Legion game. Wasn't there was like a Pugna, there was a Dazzle.
Yeah, all of that.
I think the cores were also, there was like maybe a Dragon Knight who was really tanky or something. I can't remember exactly, but it was just a bad Legion game. And he also had not that much farm after the lane stage. This time,
hey, there you go.
It's a mid Legion. He's been given a little more farm priority, and at least for now, Execration will find the first goal of the game.
pretty much gonna go for the same standard item. We're gonna see Blaymel coming out, very likely, very good against the Sven. And now we're gonna see Charge going on the mid lane. It's gonna come in an angle where Kaiser doesn't see it coming.
Quaff is coming from the south. Kaiser. He's gonna zip away mid. The thing is, it's really got to be a +1 with a duel, I would say.
Yep, and
like even the Spirit Breaker is not a long enough duration to be able to get those kills alone. It's turned up on James. Duel number 2 available in 5 seconds, but he won't get to use it.
yep.
Interesting build here from Nando. Gone for the early force stack, now going back for a hood. So utility tank Razor, not building, you know, like sometimes we just see like early Dragon Lance or even picking up like a Yasha, but just pure mobility at least for now.
Yeah, very good at kind of getting himself out of the chainstun, or getting his ally out of chainstun. I guess we don't really need to talk about why Force Staff is such a good item, but this tank build in particular,
especially against cold feed,
yep.
ensuring that setup is huge. As Nando will get caught out. Nice purge though. James walks into the fire and he will pay likely with this life, but the Quapple's there. Combine it with the plasma field, layering in the damage. Execration routing HellRaisers as they chase forward, and they've got the vision to continue pursuit. They can chase after. Swift they might get 2 for the price of 1. Kimo! Oh, just missing.
All right, Milan, he is going to go down easy. Nando, Plasma Field, force that forward, a couple more right clicks. Raging Potato, I got to remind you guys, started this game
6-1 and 2.
Yeah, he didn't even see creeps for the first 2 minutes. He just got bullied so hard in the lane. The only time he died, he was getting a double kill on the right side of like some tier 1 towers. That is Jay for you. This is one of the reasons why he's the biggest name in Pinoy Dota, or was at least.
And boy, has he matured a lot over the years. You know, like he used to be a very hot-headed player. Back when he was playing with Jules, like one or the other of them in the Dota 1 days would often, you know, be overextending, playing a little cocky, throw games away that were won, but he feels like that stable veteran presence in the core role nowadays where, you know, sure he can make flashy plays, but you also don't see him making sloppy mistakes the way you used to, so.
I think he still does.
He's aged, I think he's aged like a fine wine.
He has, it's just that his playstyle is about like walking that fine line, right? Like a lot of his edge is identifying when is the moment I could go in and when is the moment I don't. And sometimes he misidentifies, you know, players make mistakes. And now he is not going to make a mistake for easy kill. They even get the dual damage. Okay.
Turn around though. Fail comes through. Cold feet gonna proc. Oh, they're going to lose Potato. Do they lose James as well? Stun. Follow up.
Yes, they do.
A bridge too far for Execration. And
again,
still the story of this game that they find great fights and then they find over-ambitious ones to get punished. At least they took the A with them that time. Now they'll answer back a 2 for 2 around the map. HellRaisers wanting to come in. They do have the lasso ready for 3-3. Fishing Chemo up on the high ground, but looks like Execration. Just for now, we're going to make it back.
Lane break? Okay. Touch him in tail end, but it's far enough away. So one thing I mentioned earlier when you're asking me how the game's going to go is that I think HellRaisers still has a better lineup for this kind of game. But the Pinoy Dota, the familiarity with this kind of playstyle, to me, I think Execration is unfavored. They've been playing this kind of Dota for the last 10 years. Like, they wake up and they play this type of Dota. It's just hectic all over the place. I think the experience might give Execration
the jinx. The jinx. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I am sorry, Rage.
Did I say that they have the experience playing this kind of Dota?
Experience losing this kind of Dota as well, maybe?
Yeah, for sure.
It's unfortunate death. 2 now for Jay. As soon as he starts to toot the player's horn, but Castle. Ugly hit. Buyback. Maybe they try to force this fight. Milan gets stunned as they charge through. They get a great static lead. Now a duel to follow it up. Here comes the Ice Blast, but I think the Legion is fine. Trading his life for that of the spend. The Razor's low as well, though. Dropping fast, and he will fall. They don't buy back on the Queen of Pain, and that's going to cost them all 4 dead. Oy, oy, oy.
It's so rare that an Ice Blast hits both cores. In fact, I'm very used to Ice Blast missing nowadays, but they both committed super hard for the Sven. And I think the fact that they commit for the Sven multiple times is what's costing them, right? I think if you just go for some of the backline, or even just go for the Ember, they're so easy to kill. Sven had his God Strength up. He's so tanky. He's like over 2k HP with very respectable armor even when he doesn't have Warcry activated.
I just think if you want to take that fight, you buy back on Queen of Pain.
Sure, or that.
5v5, she's got ult ready, and if you don't want to, just let the tower go.
I honestly, I still think that they lose the fight, because when both your LC and Razor gets hit by the Ice Blast, sure, you get the Sven kill faster, but you're gonna die eventually. Buyback or no buyback. I just thought that,
And the Legion is starting to feel very under-farmed at this stage. Basically, even with the Batrider, despite being given the mid-farm priority, and as a result, drops quite easily in these fights. Got the casual Helm of Iron Will, but now rethinking things. Was going for Shadowblade, now thinking about a BKB. Basically unsure of what item will salvage these upcoming fights.
It's not just him too. Look at Raging Potato has a ultimate orb. I think he was thinking of perhaps Lincoln's, but now it switches to Yule's.
A lot of wasted gold there. That's like 3,000 gold between the two of them.
Yep.
That isn't directly being converted into real items.
And they're not like winning really hard. They're not farming particularly too well. But the game is very close. So small stuff like that could really decide. Like, for example, if HellRaiser wins a fight now, they could really propel ahead. Especially when you, like I said, 3k gold is pretty much in items that don't do anything really.
What is scary for Execration is if you look at HellRaisers, they have the Midas coming on the AA. Kaiser's gone for the BOTs pretty early, so they are gearing up for a very strong follow-up into the mid-game with a lot of extra gold, a lot of mobility. If it does slow down and become a farm war, the way Execration is itemizing, they're definitely going to lose out there. They're already worse at farming with the Ember spin, and then you've got this Midas in effect, the early BOTs as well. There is no way you're keeping up unless you're finding fights.
I'm personally of the mind that Sven hits a peak at one point and he starts falling off.
When do you think that peak is?
I mean, once he gets like 5-6 slotted, the peak is hit. And then he becomes very easily kiteable, especially when his BKB gets to like the 5-second mark. And if you look at the lineup for Execration, they have really good heroes for kiting them. Pretty much every single hero that Execration has either kites Sven or helps the allies to kite Sven.
What heroes would you say do not hit their peak when they have 6 items?
Well, I
Lone
mean,
Druid?
I guess that's not a really good way to describe it. It's just that...
You mean more like he's very BKB reliant?
Yes, and like for Spectre... hold that thought.
Big charge on the Swift ending, looking to bring him down early. They get off the quad bolt, heavy commitment, and the duel at the end, 48 duel damage. Already 3+ times more than what they had yesterday. And a much longer game.
Like for a certain other type of carries, they retain a lot of their late game potential once you hit a certain point with items. But like you said, the BKB duration is so important for Sven. The enemy supports itemizing to get 4-stab also doesn't help in Sven. So I think Sven, as well as most other melee cores, really falls off fast once the peak is reached. So going super late, I still think that HellRaiser is favored, but perhaps less so than most people imagine. I think this game is close enough where, again, it comes down to execution.
Well, you say that, but once the Legion gets his level 25 Talon Lumi,
True.
Think of the damage.
I mean, you could make the argument, though, that you want to get the -8 second plus attack.
I think everyone is attracted to the damage, and unfortunately, they don't have it here.
Nope.
It's like Kaiser should easily be able to zip away. This is where, like, if you have a Blade Mail in the Legion, that Ember is dead for sure.
Did he have Flameboar on? I don't think he did. So I'm not sure how much right-click damage he would have reflected.
I think it was.
Bottom side here, we're going to see more fight happening. Queen of Pain going to get blown up.
Now the chase is on Milan, pounding James as he gets charged in turn, but already Execration forced to retreat. The smoke thrown in kind of casually, but now the void, the dust to counter it. They lock James down, they chew him up. Sven on the warpath as he storms down mid. Still no sign of Nando looking to join that engagement. He is becoming their most important hero with the way the game's developing. The only one keeping up in farm with December and Sven, actually surpassing them for now. Normally Razor not known for being able to take it all that late.
Yeah.
He is a decent matchup against Sven on paper. Certainly Ember not very good at bursting him, but also just kind of ignore him and go for the backline. So it's an interesting dynamic that'll emerge.
The fact that he's really high farm is impressive because he hasn't gone for any farming. This is not a Midas Razor that we see, like, for example, burning. has gone for in the past. Hood as one of his early major items that don't help you farm, yet he is the #1 network, so that's impressive. The other thing I want to point out is his talent choice. You almost always, like 95% of the time, see the cast range being selected. It's so important to actually get off a good static link, especially against the Sven, right? We call it the Sven counter because of the static link. But he goes for the unstable current damage. Yes, there is a lot of single target nukes and stuff, but I don't know. I find it hard to justify the skill option.
Yeah, I agree. I think staying on the Sven static link is your #1 priority. I guess that said, though, they have so many single target abilities here, like that are going to be key in fights. The Stormbolt, the Void, the Silence.
But are they going to fire it on you, though? That's the thing.
I think they need to use some of those on you.
Sure,
or you're just going to do whatever you want in the fights. Like at some point this Razor, and actually not too far from now, we'll have a BKB as well. I guess that's the situation where how much does that talent really offer?
Right, exactly.
In theory, you want to just be killing everyone during your BKB.
You have a BKB and a Hood. Like, are they going to fire some co-feed at you? It's just like, I don't know.
That I agree. That the way he's itemizing, then I think it doesn't make.
It'd be a misclick.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Execration will retreat to the safe side of the map. But a ward is dropped there. Perhaps it's not so safe after all. As 3-3 alerts. Cape from Arok. Looking to sneak in and start the party. Chemo. Actually, now he gets turned on. He tried to charge in. He gets voided on the way out. Commitment, though. HellRaisers are content to slow this game down. Play the farm game. But you can see a conga line of Execration heroes roaming top. They are on the prowl for that big Sven. And really not going to find it.
One thing that HellRaiser has been doing an excellent job is stacking their Ancients repeatedly. Every time I look over to Ancient Cap, it's stacked. In fact, they're both stacked currently. And like you mentioned, Execration doesn't farm as well. Moving forward, HellRaisers are going to get a little bit more out of the map constantly. Yule Scepter finish on Raging Potato, going back for the Lincoln Sphere.
That is one thing Execration, it's very classic Pinoy Dota. They love their Lincoln Spheres, they love their Yule Scepters. I still remember the old Tiny that they used to play where he'd get like Force, Blink, Yules. He would not go for that big right-click parry Tiny even when it was all the rage, but here comes the fight in the bottom lane. HellRaisers getting the jump, but forcing that Razor on his heels. He gets clipped by a triple remnant, deleted from the fight, either with the Hood, either with the Pike. No chance he gets out there, now roasting in the flames. HellRaisers cleaning up. It's all about the jump, Lumi. Every fight, they get the initiation advantage with the Night Stalker, with the Bat Rider, quickly isolating a target. They're getting hit by the Ice Blast, then they just run. The Razor backs away. He's not forcing the fights. The Night Stalker vision lends his resistance, and then they just crumble from there.
Ooh, nice dodge away here from Kaiser, dodging the ultimate of the Spearbreaker. The crazy thing in that fight was that LC was hiding in the trees south of the Razor to prepare for that engagement. The lasso went onto the Witch Doctor. He then quickly got pressed the attack up, but it didn't matter at that point. Triple Remnant in, Ice Blast on the face of Razor, and it doesn't matter that he went for Hood first. Still got blown up. That BKB cannot come any sooner for that Razor because he really needed it.
Of course, once he gets it, I still do look at HellRaisers as a great kiting lineup. You've got the Warcry, Night Stalkers, mobility. You've got two flying heroes with the Night Stalker and the Bat Rider, and the Ember who can jump in and out of the fight. So I don't feel like, oh, you get BKB, they're going to have to fight you. You can just AoE stun them and hit them and they're all going to die. They can also very easily just run away. You waste your BKB, and then your Razor is a sitting duck.
Right. And that's where you use that BKB in conjunction with the LC duel, with the charge in and things like that.
It's got to be a 1-by-1 type thing for Execration. Find that first pick, and then once HellRaisers have committed to try and save him, hopefully you find more fleeing the scene. So at 30 minutes, it's 4K gold lead emerging for HellRaisers. Heading later into the game, Lumi, it sounds like you favor HellRaisers as well.
I think HellRaiser's lineup is easier to execute, especially now that Milan is, getting longer and longer night duration as Darkness gets leveled up. Again, I said it many times already, but Execration needs to outplay, and so far it's not looking like they're able to do it.
There's a lot of heroes who can make big plays on HellRaisers. Ice Blast can be a game changer. The Batrider and Night Stalker can be playmakers through their vision and mobility, and obviously a well-placed Sven or Ember initiation can change the tides of the fight. So I really feel like all 5 of HellRaiser's heroes can win them fights. It's not just one guy like a Void who has to hit a Chrono for them to have that shot. And that makes it hard to outplay.
I mean,
like, how's a Witch Doctor going to outplay HellRaisers? You know, that's not something you can rely on.
I mean, that cast, dude, on 2 heroes.
Razor doesn't have a huge amount of outplay potential. Like, unless they screw up, you're very reliant on their mistakes. To me, it's like the Queen of Pain and the Legion who can make big plays, really.
KB is up on Razor, but you don't see Execration actively pushing towers or anything because they just can't. We are getting to a point where a one-team fight means Roshan as well, so both teams need to be very diligent to make sure that Rosh is properly rewarded. And HellRaiser, looking for that initiation. Raging Potato.
Ooh, he was ready to go. Even Sven ready. So it's a triple Lincoln's game.
Yep. The Sven Lincoln pretty common as a, I don't want to say a counter to the Razor, but just makes it a little bit harder for the Razor to itemize. Now, Nando's reliant on the Lincoln being broken. He can use his own Hurricane Pike to break it, but I think he wants to have that available as a chasing or escaping tool.
Doesn't seem like Execration have this huge sense of urgency in their minds. They're content to just play the farm war, play a slow game. I do feel like they have some good scaling cores, not amazing, but obviously Queen of Pain late game is not to be underestimated.
I actually
Razor is a good matchup for the Sven late, and the Legion obviously is the damage talent, which can make him quite a force. So on paper, I think Execration could take this late. I think HellRaisers have more options on how to win those fights later on.
I actually think that HellRaiser is stronger, like, you know, the 45 minutes in, but Execration is stronger 60 minutes in because they're talents. You talked about the LC, like both of his talents are amazing late. And now we're going to see a fight on the high ground. Nando just charges forward, no fear. He has the BKB, but very low on the mana already.
Blow the ult early, he also shrines up.
No, I think this game goes to Execration if this goes super late. Obviously, that does factor in what kind of item, let's say AA as well as Night Stalker goes for. AA has that Midas, so he can scale pretty well into the late game.
I think it's all down to execution for me. I think Execration's cores probably match up a bit better versus HellRaisers in the ultra late game, but I also think HellRaisers have the much better pick-off potential.
Yep.
The Blink Lasso initiation. There's only the Legion as a real counter to that, especially once there's BKB on the field in the late game, assuming he goes for it. And you've obviously got the Ice Blast to delete a hero.
Well, yeah, daytime push.
There we go. No darkness available, but they are unafraid, and they force out a glyph early. Execration coming head-on at them, so if the HellRaisers want to just retreat, they can do so safely. And like, I think you made the key point there. It's daytime, and they're still pushing. They are not afraid of Execration at this state of the game.
I guess one of the most reliable ways to break the Lincoln is just Earthquaker charge at the start of the fight or at the start of the initiation. That's something that Kimo could communicate with his allies.
It's also one of the big benefits of having a Lincoln is that he can't just be charging you and you have to worry about it. As soon as that charge is used, you just realize they might be ganking you and retreat.
No, I mean in the scenario where let's say Sven is on the high ground hitting your building, and as Execration you charge to break the Lincolns, and then you could duel him or link him up. Yeah.
No, I understand that. I'm saying like it still has a lot of benefit, allowing you to farm the map more freely.
That's for sure.
Outside of those scenarios. But yeah, you're also right that in an actual team fight, it's a very unreliable Lincoln Sphere because of the Sphere Breaker, with his global Lincoln's breaking potential.
I think for Execration fans out there, don't need to be too worried. Their late game is they're scaling there. Bloodthorn is being committed here by Queen of Pain, the first major damage item, major damage source from them. And of course, the level 25 for both LC and Queen is the goal.
Well, grab some coffee if that's the case. We're going to be here for a while. This Legion's item progression has been awful, though, Lumi. That is a big concern for me. He still does not have BKB. We're 36 minutes in. 2k net worth down on a Bat Rider when he got more farm priority and needs more items, really, to be a relevant force in the late game. And James has gotten absolutely nothing.
Initiation here on the count. Immediately press the attack, but 33, there's no punish to him because he force stabs away.
Good play by James there to be able to purge that off, but at the same time, HellRaisers, they could just retreat. Reset, there's no urgency here.
Yep.
They'll go back to farm.
For either team, it feels like there's no urgency.
We'll be here all day.
We got other games to cast, though.
Well, these teams have other games to play before say, but that might also mean the duel's available for an actual kill opportunity. If they get in range of Milan, it's a double. Finally, Execration will end the drought. Get on the board. Maybe they can Roche now.
Yeah, I think so. They don't have the greatest damage. No medallion available for the team. But no heroes are coming to slow it down either, so.
On 37 minutes in, score 20-23. Execration sitting 2 and 3 in the group. HellRaisers 1 and 2 as they look to finish off this Roshan.
Okay.
But there's a buyback from Milan. They want to take this fight. Looking for the jump forward. He remnants into the pit. Zips in. Looks for the Aegis. Snatches it.
Oh my
Boom!
God.
And with that, maybe the game away from Execration. Milan's been brought low, but not finished off. A nice death ward from RR. Still going, but the war cry mitigates most of the damage. 1 down. About to be more. 2 have fallen, including the Queen of Pain. Now Nando's trapped in the pit. He's liable to be the 3rd if he gets any help. Perhaps this fight turns around. No, maybe not. He's stolen 200 damage. Still engaging. That flame break comes in. Now Chemo trying, but won't be able to get any escape out of this fight. And now Nando, 4th on the list. And HellRaisers likely to find him too. Even jumping forward for RR. It's 5 dead. HellRaisers slaughter all and leave a bloody trail of bodies on the path to the Execration base.
That was so painful. They get the Aegis. I think they win the fight in a pretty lopsided fashion. I don't know. It feels so bad for Execration. But great play. I mean, that's why that the buyback it surprised me, and it definitely surprised Execration. And the ballsy play of Kaiser going in, game saving.
Not only game saving, it might just have been game winning. HellRaisers have 50 seconds with no Razor, no Quap for 15. Surging into the base, looking for the Slain of Rax. The God Strength is pulling down. They also find the last one. Follow up here, and James can't purge it off yourself when you're last one, man. Down he goes. That's no Legion for 50. Additional time now gifted to HellRaisers. Diving deeper for kills. Objectives on the menu. They can rotate towards mid. There's no tier 2 to block their path. It's going to require a miracle for Execration to hold the line. Maybe that big Queen of Pain ult is on the horizon. We'll see. Out it goes, blinking forward for the Scream. They do get the kill on the spend. Not only the kill, but also removing the siege engine. We'll put a stop to this. But blood has been drawn, Lumi. Execration now down on full lane.
Yep, this is just got much harder. Shrines are now open. Eventually, HellRaiser could come back and take it. I think the goal lead is starting to pull to a pretty wide degree now. Queen of Pain gotta be very careful. The rotation's coming in from the side. HellRaiser, Shipbreak is linking. The lasso's there. That should be enough here. No time for Rage Potato to make these plays.
Maybe get that blink. Yeah. Ooh. No, Kaiser was ready for it. Remnants back in. Times it just right. Gets the bonus damage and the kill. Oh man, what a turn of the tides for HellRaisers. As it was pretty even. 5k gold at the 30-something minute mark is more or less a draw. I would say it's a very marginal advantage at best, but with that fight being won now, surging up to 11, 12k, multiple deaths on the cores here. Still no BKB for James. We're now 40 minutes in. This Legion commander has just not paid off. A handful of duels think, like you said, it just doesn't seem to be Execration's hero. This is 2 games now in 2 different positions where the Legion has not really amounted to much.
I think it's more of the role that he's assigned in this game. Like, he has to, even though he sees creeps, he has to stand behind his cores to just let them farm and use press the attack as a defensive. And as a result, he's allowing the Queen of Pain and the Razor to take much more farm. But still, I think the BKB is so important that you should have just allowed him to get it earlier. Now, Nano gets picked off as well.
Lasso to start it off. Can't be out on your own farming at nighttime, and that is probably the biggest issue for Execration is that they have lost map control. And
they don't have any of it.
And they're already worse at turbo farming, even if they're able to move around the map freely, and now they're not able to move around the map freely. So the deficit, the gap is likely to widen. RR though will try to sneak in, glimmering himself forward, break that Lincoln Spear. Now they can set up the duel, the quad ball comes through. Huge opportunity here, they do get the kill. That's what the Doctor ordered, to keep Execration in this game. Now looking for Kaiser as well. The Ember Spirit though, able to slice, dodging away and back to safety, and still they stay on their ground, but Milan's gonna be next to the list. They don't have that frontline tech. Without the Sven, HellRaisers are much more killable. He also does that buyback, he's out for 70. They could maybe get more, but has the Spirit Breaker overplayed his hand. He sticks around a bit too long. Chemo likely to go down, will drop in the end. Kaiser is unafraid. That was, I believe, a dieback on the Razor, out for 7 minutes with no buyback, dead for 80 seconds. Still, Execration want to fight. They're going to have the duel soon. 10 seconds to go, but it's not ready yet. He also gets caught. Lasso's there. Saw the follow-up damage raining in, and will be enough for the kill. The chase is on. Now Kaiser looking for more. Chaining forward, locking down RR, and just when you think Execration are getting back in the game again and again, they keep on giving up kills. HellRaisers punish them time and time again, and now it's a second lane of Rax. It's likely a 1-1 split in this series. The climb grows ever steeper if they want to claw their way back.
Yep. Like I mentioned, around the 45-minute mark, HellRaiser just has a stronger lineup. There is really no damage on the side of Execration. Yeah, there's things like Bloodthorn, there are Sonic Wave. We saw how quickly they were able to blow up the Sven. But then, what about round 2? The cooldown, relatively low on HellRaiser's side. And this Ember Spirit, there is just no clean answer. Or rather, there's not enough clean answer. If you dump everything on the Sven, then Kaiser gets to do whatever he wants. If you dump everything on Kaiser, then Swift Ending is going to just close out the game. So it's tough here for Execration.
Now the map control is completely gone. You know those shrines are coming next. With the Sven, they'll drop fast as well. Completed Daedalus now online for him. Shrine 1 down. Next to follow shortly. The Noose will begin to cinch around Execration's necks, and should they lose this, they drop to 2 and 4. What could have been a 3-3 start to day 2. It's looking like a pretty big mountain to climb in this group stage, and on the side of HellRaisers, they'll be sitting at 2-2 and still very much in the running. Potential to go deep. They can have a strong finish to the day. It's not entirely over yet. They have to get this last lane. They need to kill off that throne. It'll begin, as it always does, with 2 flying harpies moving in. The Night Stalker, the Bat Runner, for that quick jump.
Why Harpy? Why Harpy has such a negative connotation?
I mean, they're pretty nasty.
It could be Valkyries, you know?
Valkyrie? No, the only Valkyrie in this game is Legion Commander.
Is he a Valkyrie?
Looks like a Valkyrie. She. Your lore right. We should learn lore with Lumi. We'll have Slacks putting you in the classroom.
Shouldn't we just learn lore with Slacks? Did he invent
I mean,
the lore?
you'll be the student. He'll be the master.
Okay. Is Skywrath Mage a Valkyrie? Or is he just a flying
An
chicken?
angel, I think.
Angel, okay.
Or whatever, like a half angel might be. He looks angelic.
Okay.
Pure.
Anything with the white wings is angelic.
I would say so.
Yeah.
So as for HellRaisers now, up 21k gold. Anything they're waiting for, or is now the time to break the
Aegis would be nice. It's spawning really, really soon. Or may spawn really soon. There's no hurry, right, if you're HellRaiser. You could just afford to wait that 2 extra
camp
minutes.
mid, camp top, let bottom push, and then go
Right.
Roche, then you end the game. That seems to be the plan. judging by the way they're playing. Rolling hereabouts.
I see the only way that HellRaiser could maybe start to lose on this game again is they push up the high ground now, gets wrecked, and then Raging Potato and team gets an Aegis and she's off the back of that. And this game could maybe get a little scary for HellRaiser, but all they have to do is wait, get Aegis, and finish.
Yeah, they get that next shrine, so they further steepen the hill that Execration would have to climb if they want to get back in the game. Just wait for that next Roche. 3-3's in the neighborhood to do it. Execration struggling to exit the base. Once a very close game has slipped away out of their grasp, but now they see it plummeting into the abyss. Still, Execration did play one of the hardest teams in their groups already. They played LFY, who, last I checked, were still winning the group. So I don't view them as out of the running by any means.
They still have to play Newbie as one of the other top teams.
Yeah, but it's not like their 2-0 was against, you know, HellRaisers or something where it's like, oh man, you're getting 2-0'd by other qualifier teams, now you're really in trouble. I guess LFY technically was a qualifier team, but I view them as a team that's expected to be pretty strong going in.
They're still VP, they're still OG, IG, these are...
That's true. Ooh, a little vacuum lasso action there. Gonna suck Nando back in, but he does have the BKB.
Whoa, buyback!
Buyback on the Ember. They're gonna try to force the fight here as he did get picked off all the way in the top lane. Duel, he actually jumped right back in. Raging Potato was there to greet him. I think was hoping that his team could finish off Nando during that time. And then they'd have the power play. They know that Nando is not a buyback for 2 minutes. Perhaps more importantly, they just don't want to risk Execration getting the Roche.
Ember buyback was a little hasty, but shouldn't matter given the Aegis. Actually, he has no slots left. Drops some Lord Sword, right?
Aegis now about to be claimed. Kaiser definitely going to be the one to take that.
And
she's available for him as well.
Oh, Sven takes it. Okay.
All right. Imagine it's sieging time for HR. If they want to. If they want to wait for the buyback, they're going to miss their window with this Aegis. So.
Yeah, that is the one thing that you kind of mentioned during the draft is how, like HellRaiser just doesn't have too good of a push. Yes, Sven could stand in the high ground, but as we've seen, Execration has no trouble breaking the Lincolns and then using the static link on the Sven.
Sven is definitely a good building hitter. He's just a risky building hitter because of his melee nature and, you know, lack of an easy escape mechanism.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, if it's not the Sven, who else is doing it? It's Ember?
It's definitely not an Ember with this build.
Right, so...
It's poke damage at best.
Then Execration, to me, has still quite a bit of time here. Unless HellRaiser does commit using to that Aegis and getting something.
Definitely would agree with you there. HellRaisers. 50 minutes in. Still searching for an opportunity to finish off this base. They're up 2 lanes of racks. This is the type of game that you can really have to make sure you close out, though, at TI. We've seen so many TIs where teams have their gimme games and they throw them, and then they have, you know, then there's some team in the group that ends up being stronger than expected, 2-0s you. Suddenly you needed that one game to stay in the upper bracket or to, in this TI, to avoid being the 9th team. And you don't want to throw away even a game that feels won or 90% plus won.
Every game matters.
Yeah. Especially in this format, like there's, you know, every game is just a single point. There's no, you know, bonus points for going 2-0. So you have to treat every single game as equally important. At least in these early stages where you have no idea who's going to come out on top. It's going to really be the strongest teams in the group. They do make their move now, though. Surging Kaiser in. Sven getting to work, but he does get slowed down. The Stormbolt comes out. He will be purged for that. The lasso is there. Dragging in the Witch Doctor. That's a big part of the damage that could be gone. But the combo! Raging Potato unloads. He brings down a decent amount of damage on the enemy squad, but he can't finish anyone off. They've already lost their supports, and the big load has been blown. If Nando doesn't get something done with this BKB, he's likely not going to do so at all. He does bring down Milan as the trade, but now the Ember comes back into the fight. Aegis already popped. Time for round 2. Cheese was committed as well, I believe. So now they will chain up Nando, and finally they can turn their attention to the tower. They have the power play. They should be able to hit the structures here, but they want the Razor. Warcry, big commitment on him. Nando pushed back. The buyback, I think, is almost off cooldown. Even if he dies, yeah, he's got it again. So he can buy back instantly, but they've lost the 4th now. They're going to have a big power play. HR, the overwhelming advantage now. It was dicey for a moment there, but they will clutch it out. Now they get to send on this Razor, lasso him, control him, probably bring him down. If not, send him packing to the well. The chains are there. The death is in. With that, out for 2 minutes. They have clutched the game. They will end up tying the series 1-1. Be Bimbo watching his city burn.
Well, I think the paint buys back here, activating the BKB as well. Melee racks now getting railed on by Swift Ending. Do they want the racks or do they want the queen?
Just hit the buildings. HellRaisers, they're thinking about kills too. They'll get a couple of them. Good charge coming in, but it's too late from Chemo. Raging Potato has that spell vamp now, so he's harder to kill.
GG.
But not hard enough. There's the GG. Raw force of arms wins the day. HellRaisers just had too many extra lives, too much beef, and they will prevail.
I think the game kind of went as expected. HellRaiser had the better draft, and I don't think they kind of played that much better than Execration, but the power of the draft was able to carry them. So easy to initiate and do work.
Yes, a 1-1 tie here. I think so far we've seen a lot of the teams that were projected to be weaker are still very scrappy, can take games off of opponents. Not as many 2-0s as I expected. So day 2 begins now, and it begins with HellRaisers advancing to 2-2. Execration staying similar to where they were now. Instead of 1 and 3, they're 2 and 4. We'll have more action coming your way, guys. 4 concurrent streams. Lumi and I will be taking 1 series off. Then we'll be back for the 3rd and 4th matches of the day right here on this very same stream. So be sure to stick around. I believe for us, it's OG versus HellRaisers coming up as the 4th series. Not actually sure what the 3rd one is. But we'll see you soon, guys. Thanks for watching. The International 2017 continues after this.